Yes, we have management for today. If you want to turn on a computer, it's fine. Okay. Just this one, I have the internet, so this one doesn't work. But this one and then those over there, perfect. They work. Wherever you want. If I have you close, I can help you better. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Hi, teachers. Good morning. We're going to start. We really don't have a lot of people here in Chihuahua. We only have one teacher. We have El Profe Fernando with us. And so far, I see that nobody is connected. But I need to start the class because I need all the time possible for what we are going to see today. Okay, so if you can please enter to your Schoology, turn on your computers and enter Schoology because we need to start with the material. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to open up my material and I'm going so I can show it to you on the screen. Okay. Today we're going to have grammar because we know that one of the intentions of this course is to prepare the teachers in grammar for their next test. So we cannot omit the grammar, even though it is tedious. But even though we review the grammar, we review the basics of the grammar and how the grammar is taught. Um, well, we also look at exactly you know how to use it and its technicalities. All right. So we're going to open in your Schoology. You have a file called Classroom Management. It's a PDF file. Okay. For me, it's already open. I'm going to show it to you on the screen so that you can see it and you can stop seeing me. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so we want our entire screen to show. Perfect. Okay. So then this is the file you should be seeing. Okay, and there you can see some credits. Okay, an ELT course, approximately 4 or 5 with this great teacher. Hello, welcome. With this teacher, her name is Nora Diaz. If anybody knows her, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know her, and if you ever have a chance of taking the ELT certification with her, you have no idea how amazing it is, how productive it is, and how much you learn. It doesn't matter if you've been a teacher for 2 years or 10 years or 15 years. She always has new things to show you. So all the credits of this material are for her. Okay, because she's very nice, she's very sweet, and she always shares her materials with the teacher. Okay, so what is classroom management? Does anybody know? Anybody has an idea? No? Profe?
About business?
About business?
Yeah,
Okay.
for me.
All right. So classroom management, well, it's yes. When the word management, we immediately relate it to a company, right? And in a company, a manager or management has to do with the dealing of the different sections or the different areas inside of a company, right? A manager precisely needs to know how to handle its people. Of course, there are many different organizational structures. Okay, we have functional structures, we have matrix structure, we have flat line structure. We have many different kinds of structures. But no matter what the structure is, the manager is always like the head and is always the one that tells you how things are done. Okay, and as a teacher, it's very important for us always to know what we are going to do with our classroom and how we are going to work with our classroom. Okay, so we have here a little a little reading, a little writing from Hayam Ginott. It says, I have come to a frightening conclusion. I am the decisive element in the classroom. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. As a teacher, I possess tremendous power to make a child's life miserable or joyous. I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis will be escalated or de escalated, and a child humanized or dehumanized. Okay? I think these are very wise words when it comes to management. If we go back to the first line, uh, this comes from a teacher who is worried and concerned about his or her profession. This person already knows what he's talking about. Okay, this person already knows that there are some powerful things that can happen inside the classroom. So if you know that depending on how you arrive to the classroom, how you talk to the classroom, what things you do in the classroom, if you know that you can have any possible outcome, okay, and sometimes those outcomes can be negative outcomes, uh, you should be scared. You should be scared. Okay. He says, I am the decisive element in the classroom. Absolutely. What happens, Profe Fernando, if a teacher comes in a bad mood to class? What happens?
Well, all the class perceive that
Mhm.
that is very important that we give the best of us.
Yes.
When we come to class, we have to put away our problems and come very positive.
Yes, absolutely. Adriana, has it ever happened to you that you arrive to the class and then your students tell you, "Está enojada, maestra?"
Exactly.
Okay, what happens?
And I say, oh, that's quite tall. Something like that, but
But you are mad, right? Something happened in the previous classroom, right? That made you feel bad, and then
and
they check
sometimes
it.
you, but you don't have to. But when it happens to me, I try to relax and okay, here is my work, so
Right,
Mhm.
right, good. We have to be like very fast in feelings and really fast in changing emotions. If we are mad and we arrive to a new classroom, it's like it's not that we are bipolar. It's that we know how to like change our feelings, right? It's like you said, calm down. This is a different classroom. You start over because actually every hour you start over. Okay, not all your groups are the same, right? So they don't deserve the same treatment. Okay, so definitely, and you are decisive in that classroom. Everything that happens in the classroom is because you command it, you order it, you want it.
or sometimes all the classes different. You feel weird.
Yeah.
What is wrong? Oh, you have to say a little joke or something. Okay, okay. It's better. You might find better.
Yes, yeah, yeah. No, and you're right because if they're quiet, it's for some reason. Maybe they're falling asleep. Maybe they have a lot of things on their head. You don't know. But if you do like you said, you tell them a joke to wake them up. Something as simple as that improves the climate of the classroom, right? Okay. And then it says, it is my personal approach that creates the climate. Today we're going to be talking about approaches, not only technical approaches, okay, like how to teach things, but also emotional approaches. Okay. Well, I guess I'll tell you this when we get there. But it's very important how you approach a student, how to make your students' day and sometimes even life a little bit better.
So, Chris, what do you think that program is doing? I think it's a hard one that you have to, I don't know, other emotions.
Mm. Yes.
And I don't know how to do this sometimes, but some classmates are crying or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. So do you know what happened?
I read a little bit about it, but I felt this is what I felt about the program. I I felt two things. One, they are asking you for things to do things that you don't know how to do because you need prep for that. That's the first thing. You need some kind of psychological prep for that. That's the first thing you need. And then the second thing you need, and I was talking to this about to this thing situation with Ingeniero Reza. I was telling him, it's very difficult that you have a program, like we've said many times before, that you have a program to fulfill. And then at the same time, they're asking you to kind of like mother, the students. And so our students particularly have a lot of issues. And then suddenly you come to a point where you don't know. I mean, okay, do I teach or do I cuddle them? Do I teach or do I start working on the construyete psychological, thing? And if you go on that way, on the emotional part, it's gonna take you a long time. Like I told you before, I worked 15 years at La Salle, and La Salle, they cuddle their students. It's one of the ideas of San Juan Bautista de La Salle. You have to cuddle your students, protect them, look after them, so on and so forth. But I know you can't see me, but I'm doing the bunny ears now. I'm quoting. It's a waste of time. You know, I'm putting it in quotations because it's not a waste of time, but it is. You know, you get to know your students at a different level, but then you're not going to the academics. So now it's like they want you to be both, and it's hard. Teachers before, they were teachers. They were just teachers. And if a student had a problem, call it whatever, if it had to do with if it was a neurological problem or whatever, the teachers didn't have to worry. They solved it by throwing an eraser to the student's head. "Pues, ¿qué trae?" you know that was the psychological help. No construyete, no nothing. Okay, no religious ideas or anything. And we did okay. Of course, situations have changed. Now our students have problems that we didn't have back then. One of the biggest problems, maybe drugs, right? That's we've always had drugs, but they weren't so there, so present when we were their age. And violence, of course. There's a lot of issues that they face that we didn't face, thank God. But I don't know. I guess we have to work and we have to make ends meet. I'm going to give you like some techniques, on what to do, but they're not panacea. They're not like the solution to everything in the world, but they can help. I think they help. Okay. Okay. It says, "It is my daily mood that makes the weather." Absolutely. We go back to the same points. If you arrive mad or angry to your classroom, that's what you're gonna get. If you arrive happy to your classroom, it's like contagious. You're gonna get a happy class. If you arrive tired to your class, you're gonna get tired students. Okay, so yes, it is your daily mood that makes the weather. And then it says, "As a teacher, I possess tremendous power to make a child's life miserable or joyous." Absolutely. You can destroy a human soul in 2 seconds.
Exactly what I want.
Yes, with one word. Destroy the human soul with one word. We do have a lot of power. We do. There was this teacher. She already passed away. She was a very good person. Her name was Graciela Sotelo, and she was very old and very wise. And she told us one day, it's we have to be very careful because it's a dangerous job. She said, you sometimes students come to your hands, and if you make one false move, you don't know what these kids are going to be eventually. You don't know, right? And sometimes those false moves have to do with what you did or with what you said. And I took that, very personally because um, I used to have children of very important political figures. Yeah, and it was difficult. I was like, oh my God, how do I treat the student? Right? How do I treat the student? I had once. He was the son of a governor, ex governor, and not to say his name. And one day I was was watching over in an extraordinary exam, recuperación, and he comes in and he has this beautiful, bag, and he puts it on my desk and he says, inside this bag there are 5 of the best bottles, alcohol bottles that you can find here in Chihuahua, and they're very expensive, and they're yours if you give me this teacher's test. Things like that. And then inside you're thinking, first, did I hear what I just heard? Did he really mean it? Is he joking? And I had students. And, yes, but they knew him, and then the students were like, oh, okay, it's him. And they continued doing it. So I said, God help me. So I just, I stood up, I banged the desk, and I started, who the heck do you think you are? Blah, 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 blah. Do you know who my father is? And I said, yeah. The question is, do you know who my father is? And he's like, yeah, I was only joking. Like, right. But, sometimes, I don't know, you have a lot of power as a teacher and you don't know how to it's so hard sometimes. But, one easy piece of advice, just never treat them wrong. Never put them down. Never insult them. Even if you really, really want to, because we've all wanted to. Have you ever felt you wanted to strangle a student? Yeah.
I ignore those people. Absolutely. No problem.
Yes, teacher. See, that's the best thing we should do. Ignore them. Definitely ignore. And then go and give them a report or something. I must admit that once I did do something really, very awful. I did. But I was 22 years old. I was barely starting as a teacher. And my student was 18 years old. So, there was not a big difference in age. And he was the most terrible student I have had in my entire life. He was, sorry, but he still is, I guess, a disgusting person. Really, really, for real. And, every time I went to the classroom, I was, just dragging my feet to the classroom. And when I arrived to the classroom, he started immediately, as soon as the class started, he started nagging. And it blew me off. So I just told him, ¿sabe qué? Usted no sabe nada. ¿Cómo no pasa usted a ching? And I said the whole phrase. Yes, for real, I said it. Y se me larga la like that. So he left, but you know where he went, right? You know where he went. He didn't go to where I sent him. He went to the principal's office. And of course, 10 minutes later, they come and they say, teacher, the principal wants to see you. Yeah, fine. So I was, I had barely started there. I was not attached to the place. So I was like, yeah, if they fire me, yeah, I'll get another job. And, if this is the kind of students I'm going to have forever, I don't want to be here. You start justifying. So I got there and, my boss, the sweetest person ever, I really admire him. And he told me, oh, Griselda, you shouldn't do this because they're students, they're people. And I said, and I was just like, biting my finger, and I was like, yes, I know. Yes, I know. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done this. Okay, don't do it again. No, I won't do it again. And then I stand up, and I was going to get out the door when he tells me, hey, how did it feel, to rayarle la madre? And I was like, the truth, it felt very good. And he was like, I knew it, because everybody hated him. The teachers. And one time, Karma, I went to El Paso and for a Black Friday, and I was in line in Old Navy. It was this huge line. So I go to the line, I stand up in line, and like 2 minutes later, a woman, she stands up behind me. And eventually, after 10 minutes in line, I turn around and I see her. I didn't recognize her. And she tells me, Teacher Griselda, and I go, yeah. And she says, oh, hi, I am, let's call him Jose. I am Jose's mother. Demonios. And I was going to be in line for 1 more hour. Okay. And I go, damn. And then, probably my face went white or I don't know. And she tells me, don't worry, teacher. I know I have a nefasto son. I know I have an annoying son. I constantly mentar the madre to him too, even though it's an autogol. Trust me, I don't take it bad from you. And then she had another son. Let's call him Eduardo. And she said Eduardo talks wonders about me, but I know it's Jose because Jose has problems, But I was like, damn, when I'm going to be here 1 hour listening to her, bad teacher, and then other people listen. No, but she was very good. Okay. And that's the only time I have done that. If I ever feel like I just I try to calm down and then I just say, okay, lo que usted diga, sálgase, I solve it like that. It's one way of doing it. And then I just go and file in a report and then, yeah, end of the story. But yeah, we say some pretty terrible things sometimes because of the power that we have. Okay. It says, I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. Definitely. In English, it always happens. Okay. I have a student. I'm sure you have had these kind of students. I want to listen to your stories. I have one student right now. Her name is Gabi. And Gabi is 26 years old. She has had a very difficult life. She got married when she was 20. And then she was with the guy for 4 years who was a complete idiot with her. And then she finally retakes school. And so we start with the English class, and she tells me, you know what? Obviously in Spanish, says, you know what, teacher? All my life I was in private school with nuns. I guess you know where. And she says, and the nun made my life miserable. She always told me, Gaby, pues que está tonta. Gaby, pues que está tonta. And she said, every time I went to the English class, I felt tonta. Okay. And I didn't feel like making an effort. So the only thing I remember, in quotation marks, was she said the verb to be, because I remember only seeing the verb to be for 3 years. Wow. That's it. Well, Gabi, I hope that, I can teach you more. We're going to start with the verb to be. It was English one. It's English one. And, I realized she had a lot of gaps in her previous experience. But we finished the first quarter, and she was extremely happy. She was a very hardworking student. And then she said, teacher, are you going to give me class again? I said, I don't know. Because I want you to give me a class again. I used to hate English. I didn't like the language. Even when I was listening to the radio, if there was an English song, I would immediately change it. Things like that. She had like some kind of issue, some kind of trauma, right? Has that happened to you?
Yes.
Yes. You want to share, Adriana?
My students, I teach first semester, and they came from secondary. They said, no, we didn't have any classes, and we didn't do anything. All the time, so I have to start and getting started
Yeah, right? Profe?
Well, my school is very special, and I broke the rules. I don't follow a program.
Bad teacher.
I don't follow absolutely nothing. Well, with my boys, we read songs in English.
Mm-hmm.
We translate,
Mm-hmm.
but the songs lie to me. Of the songs that they like it.
Okay.
They like to me songs. I prefer Led Zeppelin, but very calm down.
Yeah.
Letters of Wars of Led Zeppelin, with Purple. Pink Floyd is excellent for the boys.
Yeah.
Because the brick on the wall
Yeah.
is example of our existence.
Yeah.
Then, because the school is very special, we have people from other schools that fail other schools,
Okay.
come to the school with many problems. We talk like friends. We have discipline in my class.
Yeah.
Because they perceive that I break the rules.
Oh, so they like it.
Yes. But with an educational goal.
Mhm.
I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. I want to be a teacher, but I'm very old. I feel a big responsibility with, with the boys. Yes.
Yes.
With this course, I want to finish and I don't want to work anymore.
Mhm.
But I have a new obligation. I have to share this knowledge
Yes.
with the boys.
Yes, teacher, you have to be afraid. Afraid of their future, right? You have to be afraid. And every time say, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I teaching this correctly? Am I saying the right things? You have to be afraid, right? Definitely. Don't leave what you're doing, get some spaces to continue doing it, because if it has worked,
Whenever it's time to start.
yeah, yeah, if it has worked, keep on doing it. Just make sure that you're covering what you're supposed to cover, okay, and give yourself time to continue doing what you're doing, because we go back to the construir, right? You are reaching them at an emotional level. You're doing it. Maybe not like construir says, but you're doing it, okay? So don't stop.
Then I have another classes, philosophy and ethics. Never in my life. I am like a comedy.
A multi-use. Yeah.
Like, philosophy, excellent subject. Wow.
See, and if you have this attitude, your students are going to like it, because usually they say filosofia,
Exactly.
it's boring, They say things like history. They say the same thing, but depends on the teacher, right? Depends on the teacher. Thank you, Profe. Very good. Okay, it says I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. I show this to my students because I tell them, my intention is never to humiliate you. Okay. As a matter of fact, in the we have minutas, we use minutas, classroom rules that we base in a document. And I tell them, uh, what I do, and people take it erroneously, is I am very sarcastic. Okay, very, very sarcastic. But I tell them it's never in the intention of hurting you. Okay, and then I tell them a little bit about satire, how satire works, and I tell them satire is you look at a problem with humor. So that's what I do. Okay, so for example, yes, what was it, Friday? Yesterday, yeah, I had a student, and I said, Giovanni, where are your copies? He was looking at a text from his cell phone, and then it, and I know he speaks English, okay, but it, and I go blah 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 blah, and everybody laughs. He says, "Hi, teacher, yeah, we'll say it in English." He says, "I left it in the car." And then I told him, pues que aprenda mucho el carro, ¿verdad? He arrives late and he doesn't bring material, so I had to scold him. So that's how I do it. But it's not, and I tell them, it's not that I'm disrespecting you. Okay, it's a different way of doing it. And at the end of the year in the evaluations, I usually get one or two students that say, "Ay, es muy grosera porque es muy sarcástica." But the other students, like the 98% of the students, they're happy. So I say, who am I going to go with? The 2% or the 98%? No, but sorry, the 98% wins, right? Because the other 98% is happy. So I just continue, right? But I mean, I love humor. I like to play humor in my class, whatever. And I think it's a winner. In all situations, it is my responsibility to decide whether a crisis will be escalated or de-escalated. We always have crisis in the classroom, different kind of classroom. If you contribute to it, you are increasing it. If you settle it down, we're going to look at a strategy to settle it down. You will decrease it. And what do you want to do? Humanize or dehumanize your students? We all want to humanize, right? But that's also very hard. Okay. So this is one of the first things that we were talking about. Yes, danger, teacher in bad mood. Okay. So here, definitely what we have to do is, like Adriana said, we have to calm down. Okay. We have some pretty rough days, very difficult days, especially some particular situations with some students in which a student decided to, do something bad, behave bad, answer back. I don't know, or this particular student that is always, annoying, and then suddenly the day comes when the last drop, and then your water just spills out the glass. Okay, But like we were saying, you have every hour is like a new start. Okay. And your previous students don't have to pay for what the others did. So I don't know how much flexibility you have in your schools or how much time do you have between classes, Adriana?
How many what?
How many minutes do you have between classes?
No, it's in the work. 50 minutes and then the students come to the other.
So like 10 minutes?
Something like that, 5 minutes, right?
Okay, 5 minutes, and you, profe?
10 minutes.
Then you have, that's even better, right? So maybe for you, it's going to be a bigger challenge than for profe. But that's sufficient time, like to get distracted. And whatever you like, sometimes even just chatting or telling a friend, oh, estos carijos, me hicieron esto. And then, yeah, let go. Let go and then continue with your next class. Because a teacher in a bad mood generates, it's like, how do you call it? The pyroclastic cloud that, passes by and destroys. And the more it advances, the bigger the destruction is. That's like a teacher in a bad mood. Okay, it really, really is. You enter the class, you put them into a bad mood, you leave them in a bad mood, and then the next teacher comes in. She receives them in a bad mood, and then she's gonna get in a bad mood, and then it's like a vicious cycle. It is a vicious cycle. And then I don't know of any teacher who gets good results from being in a bad mood. Those teachers that come in and now you're gonna do this. I don't see how they get good results. Okay, they get some results, okay, because their students are scared of them. But real knowledge doesn't get through. It's like they just learn the material to pass, not because they make knowledge their own. Okay, so remember, we have to, even if we have 5 minutes or we have 10 minutes, we have to make the switch. We really, really have to make the switch. Okay, what is classroom, CR? What is classroom management? Okay, we started with this question at the beginning. Classroom management is physical arrangement of the CR. This means how are you going to sit your students, or how students are seated in your classroom. Teaching styles and classroom energy, and then some variables. Okay, let's start with physical arrangement of the CR. We have the typical classroom arrangement, right? Everybody facing forward. Okay, some schools do not permit their teachers to move their chairs. Incredible or not, but some schools do not permit it because it's too noisy, because the chairs are too old. They can't stand the movement of the chairs, because of policy, whatever. Okay, they just don't permit it. And it's ironic because our new system says that our students need to learn to work more in teamwork. Okay, and then there is the other extreme. We have schools that are trying their best to make the classroom flexible for their students to get in teamwork as much as possible. Tecnológico de Monterrey 4 years ago, approximately, they changed the chairs. Okay, the typical traditional chair with the 4 legs and steady. It finished. They installed new chairs, and these chairs, I will draw it for the students here, but I will try to describe it for those of you online. These chairs were kind of andadores, like walkers. Okay, on the bottom they had a kind of a cylinder, like a triangular shape. Okay, and so right here in the bottom of the triangle, they could put their backpacks. Okay, they could put their backpacks, and of course it had some wheels on the bottom. And then on the top, the chair was those kind of ergonomic model kind of chairs that look like huevitos. Okay, it has that ergonomic look, and then it had the palette, right, where they could write and put their notebooks. The palette was movable. It would open like this, so the student could come out and then get in and then sit down, whatever. And they were very comfortable and very pretty because they were in really nice colors, and orange and yellow and green, and very nice colors. And maybe at college level they worked, but Dios de mi vida, in high school, it was madness. It was crazy, crazy. And then it was, for example, I didn't receive a course on classroom management with the new chairs. I didn't receive it. So you come into the classroom with new chairs like this, and the students are spinning, cowboy, yay. That's what they're doing. Exactly. And then everybody moving. And then you have students facing, giving you the back, and you're like, what the fudge? What happened here? And they're like, a ver, face the front. And then, like 20 spins before they face the front, like pirinolas. Okay, fine. One time, this was like week 1 or week 2 that we started. And imagine this is the classroom, and here are some students and whatever. And so I'm doing this. Okay, guys. And I'm writing, da, 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 da. And when I do this, I hear that, the typical parade, they're spinning again. They're spinning again. And so I continue. This was like 3 seconds that I was writing in the word. And then I start giving my class, and then one of the prefectos comes in, like brand new. Mira lo que se le salió. A student in a chair. A student in a chair. It's like, ay, perdóneme, no lo vi que se salió. Yeah, he was outside flying. Yeah. And then it generated other problems. They were working, and then a student had, a problem, a question, whatever. You're over here in the teacher's desk. And the students started not to get up and walk to the teacher. No, they would do this. Drag in the andador to where you were. And then they finish with you, and then they put their feet on the wall, and they would go, woo! It was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, a good idea, a good intention, a good idea for university with a good intention, but not for high school students. It was a nightmare.
But did you imagine in middle school?
No. I think in middle school, I don't know. I don't even want to imagine what they would do. Probably they would put themselves here, one here, and then another one here. I can't even think what they would do. So, but after all, whenever you told the students, okay, guys, get together in teams, this was the cool part. You could say, okay, guys, I want all the oranges together, the ones sitting on the orange chair, all the oranges, all the greens, and all the yellows together. And then they didn't have one projector. They had 3 different projectors, one pointing here, one there, one there. So you would tell them the yellow with projector 1, the other one projector 2, the other one with projector 3. So that was nice. Okay. And then the movement, they were very fast because they had wheels. Yeah, immediately. Everything was very fast and it was very nice. Those kind of things were very cool. Okay. But like I said, sometimes not so practical. Eventually, 2 years later, they got kind of tired. Okay. But this took us 2 years to get them settled. All right. So, we usually have the traditional pattern. If you are allowed to change your students, in position, don't be afraid to have them sit down, like in a horseshoe shape. Don't be afraid to do it. Have them change. Those changing patterns change their mentality. Okay, even if you do it once a week. Okay, guys, today we're going to sit down in a horseshoe. Okay, guys, today we're going to sit down in a circle, and I'm going to sit down with you. Okay, today we're going to sit down, and I don't know, you invent whatever pattern you want. Of course, this pattern has to be according to whatever you're going to teach in class. Okay, if you want to have your students, I don't know, maybe drill, repeat sentences, even if they're basics, sit them down in a circle. Okay, and so right there you can ask, okay, we're going to start from my left to right, and hello, good morning, how are you?
I'm fine. Sorry, teacher.
It's okay.
What happened?
A lot of people said they had confirmaciones, comuniones. Yeah.
Sorry, teacher, I'm late. I'm
It's okay.
working. It's working. Yeah.
Don't worry. It's fine. Go ahead and have a seat. It's fine. Okay. So then, like I said, do it accordingly to what you're doing. We're gonna have a conversation. I know. I know you have 60 students and you don't have any way to change them. In those cases, I remember we had the same question when we took the course, and the teacher said, change them from seat, at least that, or tell them to pair up so they can move the chairs one close to the other. Any kind of movement that makes their brain like shuckle, like shake and move, just do it. Okay. Yeah, because I know I've been there. There are some schools that do not permit you to move the chair 1 millimeter. It has to be exactly where it is. Yeah, I know. And when you have large groups, even if you have permission to move the chairs, it's also very difficult. Yeah, I understand. But that's what the teacher said. She said, any slight movement, even if it's just, put them together 2 by 2, so that they can see the classroom differently. All right. Or if they're doing this, the person in the front, do this, just like that. And then, okay, now you're going to share with the person behind you, so this person also moves, right? Things like that. Minor movements in their circumferential. Okay. All right. Teaching styles. This is something really very cool. We all have different styles. And this is what nourishes, this is what enriches a classroom. Okay, so even if they have English their whole life, it's going to be different English with one teacher than it is going to be with another. Okay, we're not robots. Okay, and this is the same with most of the other classes, with the other teachers. Your style, what you put into the classroom makes a difference. Okay. Some students say, teachers, because you're very funny, and this other teacher, she's very serious. I say, yeah, but you also need the serious teacher. Okay, you can't always have the funny teacher. You need the serious teacher too. Okay, it's good for them, for their mentality, to have different styles. And then classroom energy. Classroom energy has to do with what we're going to be talking in just a minute, with dealing with the emotions. Okay, sometimes the energy of the classroom is different to what you expect. One of my coordinators, a long time ago, Elizabeth Camargo, she told us a story that I have never forgotten. She told us that she was trying to teach her students, these are elementary kid students, she was trying to teach some grammatical structure. And then a lizard entered the classroom. And so the students started, I have a lizard, right? And she couldn't give the classroom. So eventually, she had to move to their energy and say, okay, let's talk about the lizards. Okay, what color is it? What size is it? What does it do? Okay, what does it eat? And so she started, moving English, but in a different direction. Okay, so sometimes the classroom energy is very different than what you expect. So you have to move to their energy if the energy is good. Of course, right? Not if their energy is bad, you don't move to their energy. But if they're interested in something else, just do it. Just do it. Again, it's another waste, in quotation, it's another waste of time, right? My students, for example, 2 or 3 months ago, they had a chat. INE went to talk to them about elections and about the importance of voting. And they didn't like the chat. They didn't like it. El magistrado de INE, he went, to talk to them, but they didn't like it. And then the next day, when we had our class, because I was in the chat too, they asked me, "Hey, teacher, what did you think about yesterday's chat?" I said, "No, let's start with the class. That was yesterday." And it's, "No, teacher, pero es que las elecciones," things like that. And I said, "Well, if you want to talk, you have to do it in English." He said, "It's because, teacher, the fraud." And I said, "Tell me about the fraud. And what is fraud? And what do you understand by fraud? And do you know who's running for president? And and they start talking. They start talking. Some, 1 or 2 students says, me, teacher, ¿puedo hacerlo en español? No. If it's not in English, no. And then they start, the president, I know, teacher. No, Andre. You start, you know the rule. You start, you finish. Right? And then they start, and then, they say something simple or something out of, you know, and then with a lot of Spanglish or false friends or whatever, but they talk, they try, right? So you move toward their energy, right? And I stuck to their energy for 20 minutes until I managed to recover control of the class and then continue with the class. Okay? And that has to do with the different variables. Okay? What is the worst day? What day? What days? Sunny days, cloudy days, windy days. What days are your students? Think. What day?
Sunny days.
For me,
Or-
cloudy.
or maybe hot days. Hot days. We don't have.
I know you don't have.
Oh.
No, for you, hot days. The mood, the energy, and the smell. Teacher. I know, poor teacher.
It's impossible.
I know, teacher.
I don't know smell. I don't know aromas.
No.
I think some aromas.
It's like a maruchan of whatever. I know. It's terrible.
All you with garlic
And everything.
and.
A little bit of everything. Oh my God, that's terrible. Right? But for example, you know that there is one day that they are like, I don't know, they just can't stop. They have so much energy and they don't want to focus. For me, like I said, it's the cloudy, rainy days. Because they're like, hey, look, it's raining. Ah, it's you. They just go crazy. It's like, it's water, people. It's water.
I know, but you want to be in your house. I know I want to be in my house watching a movie or something.
Yeah, exactly. They just don't want to be there. They're thinking about their homes, their beds, the fact that they could be sleeping, anything, you know, and those are variables too. Another variable, I remember this. I think I was telling Ingeniero Reza last week about this. Tec de Monterrey has, you know, big windows, really big windows. And I was very early in the morning. It was like 7:30 in the morning. I was teaching a class. And then suddenly, boom! I'm like, what happened? A dove, una palomita. It smashed. It smashed on the window. And then, you know, I was going to continue the class because, you know, I said, yeah, she's dead. Yeah. And then they said, insensible. And then, you know, it's okay, go outside. And then, you know, the dog was doing, ay, pobrecita. You know, and then another unsensible, like we said, yo le torzo el pescuezo. So the rest of the other half hour, we didn't have a class, okay, because it was all the poor dog, right? So concerned. So you have a lot of variables. I mean, anything could be a variable practically in your class, but you have to adapt. Go to their energy. Okay. So
okay, the classes before for the physical education.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, when they come back,
Yeah.
yeah,
And,
the smell. Mhm. You pass by, and then their sweat is running down. Yeah, we have some very special things we face in the class. People don't know. Okay, so we already saw physical arrangement of the classroom. Okay, we already explained what it was. And here we have some of the things, okay, that, you know, contribute to the physical environment of the classroom. Okay, we are really, really supposed to provide our students with sight. This means that wherever they are seated, they are supposed to have perfect vision of the board. This doesn't happen in all schools and in all classrooms. Okay, for example, my school, we had projectors in all of the classrooms. I love projectors. But then somebody said, no, TVs. Big TVs, you know, the 60-inch TVs. But you know where the TVs are? Over here. And they don't have the rotation handle. No, they have the steady one. So the students that are over there, they can't see anything. They can't see anything because they're too far to the right. Right? And I asked them, guys, I know that if I ask you, can you see, you're going to say yes. Me van a mandar al carajo. Move. Move over here like sardinitas. But I want to have you here. So my classroom, from here to here, no chairs, no students, and all of them here, like this, because they're supposed to be looking at the television. I don't know who thought of the idea. I don't know who said, perfect, let's do this. Que les dé tortícolis, who cares? Okay, I don't know who thought about it, but it was a bad idea. Okay, sound as well. In a lot of schools, they don't understand that teachers need good sound. We need to have good speakers because a lot of our activities have to do with sound, okay? And our school contributes to limiting our students to have them have more access to listening exercises, okay? Our students need to be conscious. And then what do? When our schools don't support us, well, that's when we start buying our own speakers, which is not fair. Okay, because not only because we buy them, but because we have to carry them. We already carry a lot of things. And then we have to carry speakers too. It's too much. Okay, so our classrooms need sight, sound, and comfort. Okay, part of the comfort is going to be this. Okay, what you said, Profe. They need cooling. Okay, they need cooling. There was this particular school that I worked at. Each classroom had their own air conditioner, but the air conditioner, it was, okay, the air conditioner or B, because the air conditioner made too much noise. And then you're talking like this in the classroom. No. So I said, okay, take out your fans. Saque los abanicos porque I'm going to turn it off. No, teacher, please don't turn it off. But it was one or the other, right? You have to fight with this, and it's not possible. The same thing happens when it's very cold, especially for us here in Chihuahua, right? The students, pobrecitos, with their gloves, writing down, and their hands are shaking, and then they're going, they're doing this. It's impossible, right? They need to be comfortable. Another thing related to comfortable has to be with seats, okay? Seats have to be comfortable. Okay, teachers say, no, that's too comfortable. They're gonna get sleepy. They have to be comfortable because they are there 6-8 hours sitting down. So they need something that is good for their posture, for everything. They need that comfort. Okay, a classroom also has to be neat and clean. Neat and clean. This has a lot of background. You have to teach your students to be clean. So if you come into a classroom, because not all teachers are clean, if you come into a classroom and the classroom is a mess, tell your students, I will not start the class until you clean up the classroom. Okay? I deserve a clean classroom. If you don't like a clean classroom, I deserve a clean classroom. And then have them clean up the classroom. Okay? Blackboard, BB stands for blackboard. Okay?
So what is neat?
Neat means like ordered. In order and clean. Everything has to be in place. Okay? The next one is blackboard. Okay? We still call it blackboard or whiteboard, however you want to call it. Okay? One of the things that I didn't like about the blackboards was that after 2 or 3 erases, it was terrible. And now with the whiteboards, it's much easier. But of course, we have to be provided with good markers. Okay? Yes. I know that's another problem, right? But we have to have a neat whiteboard, one, and a big whiteboard. We need big or 2. Yes, 2 small ones or 1 big one, but we need something big to write on. Okay, we're going to see why, because I'm going to show you how to use the whiteboard. Okay, external noise. This is very important. Okay, again, take the Monterrey. Very early in the morning, you're in your classroom, and we have Tec de Monterrey High School, and then we have Tec de Monterrey Middle School together. And you're giving the classroom, and then 7:15 always, 7:15 in the morning, the gardeners. Yeah. Yo ¿cuál silencio estoy en clase? O sea, yo tengo que limpiar, yo tengo que dar clase, it was the eternal battle. And then in my school now, at Universidad Politécnica, the cleaning lady, she has the carrito, the yellow cart, and then she's like, tacan, 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 tacan. You know, it's like, Doña Rita, shh. Ay, perdón, esto se me olvidó. So it's like, tacan, tacan. Right? And you know, a lot of different things. If you're working close to a maquila, okay, it's usually the big sound, like the alarm, or the sometimes there's too much noise. If you work at a school, for example, that has all the different levels, kindergarten, elementary, middle, the middle kids are in the recess, and then all the yelling and the screaming, and then the recess finishes, and then the other recess, and it's like a never-ending story. Okay, we need good classrooms with good windows and good locks, like this one, right? This one is. Yeah, but it doesn't really happen, right? We're always fighting against external noise, always, no matter what the noise is, right? Even if it's something small, it distracts them, right? Their distraction goes to them and not to us. The acoustics of a classroom, the same, right? If I'm talking and you can hear the echo, right? And acoustics has a lot to do with the teacher too, okay? Because you can't be a teacher if you talk like this. I have seen teachers that talk like this and this tone. Come on. You have to wake up your students, talk louder, okay? It's part of the acoustics of a classroom. Heating and cooling, which we already discussed. Seating arrangements, for example, in columns, in rows, in semicircle, okay, the horseshoe, the U shape, concentric circles. This means like really concentrated circles. One circle, okay, the big one, the small ones, and the big one. Group students with as little chaos as possible. This means if your students have the chairs and they're going to change, okay, sorry for what I'm going to do. Teach them how to move because they do this. Oh, oiga, especially high school students. Show me your muscles. Pues que esos te sirven para levantar la silla. And so, show them to pick up the chair nicely and move it, okay, as less chaos as possible. Okay, and guess who decides where the student sits? Who decides? The teacher. Because if you don't decide, you're always going to have the desastrosos together, the nerds together, the ones that need more help together. Pobrecitos. Okay? So that's what you have to do. And find different ways of doing it. Now through last name. Okay. Those that were born in January, February, March, I don't know, figure it out. Okay, but sit them differently. Okay. Something happened? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I don't know why this happened. There. Okay. All right. The physical environment of the classroom, again, Blackboard use. For the Blackboard, we need a visual input. We need illustrations and charts, and we always need to keep it clean. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use the whiteboard correctly because there is a strategy that we have to follow, and that is the physical strategy. But I'm also going to show you about the neurological effect on your students on how to use. Yes, was it clear?
If you break out.
Yes. Yes. Was it clear on the video?
Well, for me,
yes. Yeah, we'll just mention it so you remember and you apply it with your Blackboard use. Okay, illustrations and charts and keep it neat. Okay, equipment, power available in the classroom. Of course, we need electrical power. Absolutely. Everyone can see or hear the same. Okay, everybody needs to have vision of what you're doing. Extra batteries or light bulbs in case you need them. In this case, well, not necessarily. And as always, be ready to improvise. If the light goes out, you can say, pues todo lo traía en la computadora en clase, lista. right? You need to improvise. This is very important because there are a lot of English teachers that really don't know their grammar. And so they look at a PowerPoint presentation and they say, this one looks pretty good. I'm going to use this one. Me voy a acordar conforme vaya avanzando. And then the light goes off and then they don't know. They don't know. They don't know how to teach the class. Okay, so you have to watch out for that. Okay, effective use of the classroom. If you look at this teacher has perfect organization of her blackboard. Okay, and she's not only using the chalk, she's using other tools as well. She's using cardboards, okay, there that also help to contribute to the better understanding of the student. Okay, so your students, this is because your students also need structure in their brain. Okay, a lot of our students are visual. Okay, so if you have everything in its place, this visual student can later close his eyes and say, it was here. The teacher taught us new vocabulary, it was here. If it doesn't have a structure, when the student closes his eyes, he's going to start going like this. ¿Dónde estaba? ¿Dónde estaba? ¿Dónde estaba? Looking for the information, right? That is not there. So if you organize it, okay, like a pattern, say, I'm always going to put this here, and I'm always going to put this here, and I'm always going to put this here. Okay. Exactly, because even you can remember, right? But if not even you can remember, because remember we saw it yesterday in the board. It was there on the board. Here on the board. Yeah, exactly. You create the visual pattern for your student. Okay. So this is a planning, okay, for the teacher on how to write this horrible mess on the board. Okay. These are board examples. Okay, for example, in our case, we have a lot of classrooms from a lot of schools that actually already have these margins in them. It's okay. Is it Pedro? Okay. Okay. I sent him the location, but okay. So we have these patterns, and then students, maybe in their elementary years, because the elementary teachers, they're very good at this. When they get their notebook, they draw this pattern too, right? And then they start writing. So some teachers use this, okay? They start writing their sentences, and then look how nice the underline and the colors. And then on the bottom, sentences and then examples, okay? And then this one does another type of board use, parts of a sentence, and then here, this teacher puts name plus naming, tell plus telling. Okay, so uses the side of the board, like to provide additional information. This is another one, the same use as this one, telling sentences, tell a story, ask a friend, your dad or your mom. Now, I like these very much because there is a how can I say it? It's a method, okay, for taking notes. Okay, this method for taking notes, it's called, you can look it up on the internet, it's called Cornell Notes, Cornell, CORNELL, Cornell Notes. And Cornell Notes gives you techniques on how to teach your students to take effective notes. Okay, and it breaks the notebook into like some basic sections. One of the sections is the one that you have here in the right, where it says tell a story or naming. And then there's another section where you have all the basic information, in this case, where you have the telling the sentences and part of the sentence. But then it has another section, which is at the bottom. For example, I'm going to be using where it says naming, telling part, what comes first. I'm going to be using that one. And you write a line underneath that. Okay. And then what is going to come underneath that you're supposed to leave it for the last 5 minutes of class, and the students are supposed to write in that part anything that was not clear for them. So the next day, when you review the class and you ask them to say, did anybody have any doubts? The students can go back to that section of their notebook and and confirm. Okay, and then here, students are supposed to be on the left hand side where it says name and naming. Students are supposed to be writing down like questions for them, questions that they automatically answer. You can see this on the example below where it says tell a story, ask and then it has a question. So immediately afterwards, in the center, they can start answering those questions. And Cornell Notes says that students' notes do not necessarily have to be words. They can be drawings, hieroglyphics, graphs, practically anything. Because after all, student notes, as it says, are for your students, not for you. Okay? Some teachers check students' notes, and if the teacher doesn't like them, it's bad. That's wrong. Cornell says your students' notes are for your students to study from. They're not for you. So something that is wrong for you might be great for them, because after all, who's going to study from those notes? The teacher or the student? The students, right? So if they made drawings and you didn't like him, too bad for you. Okay, the student knows his drawings and the student knows what he did. Okay, that's his own learning process. All right. So this is one. These are just some examples. Like I said, this model I have seen it mainly in elementary level. Even the blackboards are divided like this. Okay. For the rest of us, like for us high school and university teachers, I would even include middle school. We have this pattern right here. Okay, it's an H. Do you see the H? Yeah, it's an H, right? It's an H. Okay, and so what you do is you divide into minimum 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. You can make more divisions out of this one. Okay, you can extend the middle line. Okay, in order to have 6 different categories or 6 different spaces. And the lines not necessarily need to be on the same part. They could be up here, and they can be at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to move here. You can have the lines here, or a whole line here. Okay, so that you can have more divisions. Okay, the divisions is because no matter what we look at in class, and I think we saw this last class, you could see this. If we're going to teach, for example, verb to be, there are many things that we have to teach inside the verb to be. Okay, so for example, if we had the verb to be, maybe right here, I would write, I would make a line here, and I would write up here adjectives. And then down here, I would write nouns. Okay. For us here, over here, adjectives, and over here, nouns. And then I would elicit students to tell me adjectives that they remember. Hi.
Teacher Pedro.
Hi, Teacher Pedro. Welcome.
Prepa Mexican teacher.
Nice. South?
North.
North. Okay, welcome. And so we would elicit students to tell us, okay, tell me what adjectives you remember from the previous classes. And then the teacher would write down the adjectives or the nouns that the students remember, right? And then probably over here on the top, we would say, okay, let's review the affirmative of the verb to be. And then down here, let's remember the negative. So that right there, I would put affirmative here and the negative here. From here, you can go to the affirmative and then say you are, and then an adjective, hi, or you are, and then a noun, okay? And then over here, the negative, you aren't, and then the adjective, and then you aren't, and then the negative, okay? So that's how you would more or less handle the board, okay? And over here, any additional information or questions from the students or whatever you want. Okay, so the next time the student, again, this can help visually for the student if the student is at the moment of the test. Okay, this, and you can tell this to your students. This structure has a meaning. It's not that I am possessive and compulsive. Okay, because that's what they say. Es que es bien posesiva. Mira, hasta como escribe. You know, tell them this is for you to remember. Okay, it's for you to remember for your test. Okay, and remember, we said that this side is the remembering. Okay, so that's why the left side is for remembering. Okay, so if I want my students to remember their adjectives and their nouns, I'm going to write them over here. Okay, if I want my students to create sentences, I'm telling them, okay, Adriana, give me a sentence with the affirmative of the verb to be, whatever. I'm going to go over here to my right hand side, so that the student can activate his right side of the brain, right? And get creative and start telling me how to different sentences with the verb to be. Okay, this is part of the planning, teachers. Okay, if we try to do it improvised at the moment, I don't guarantee it's going to come out. Okay, so when you have your new topic, imagine how do you want to see it so that your students can also see it. And then, like Adriana said, eventually, right, make like allusion to the board. Remember Monday when we looked at verb to be, that we saw some adjectives? Do you remember? Remember, right there. Okay, and then the students are going to say, oh yeah, and you're going to say, I wrote it on this side of the board. Does anybody remember? You will elicit their memory and they're going to remember. Okay, but you need to have an order. If you don't and you start writing everywhere, right, one adjective here, and maybe a noun here, whatever, they're not going to know. Okay, they're not going to know. It's going to be harder. You know, your brightest students, yeah, maybe, but most, they won't remember. Okay, so you need to structure your board correctly. This is an example of my board. It's the image is kind of blurry. When Teacher Nora, when we finished the certification with Teacher Nora, by the way, the certification was 1 year, 1 complete year, Saturdays from 9 to 2, and it was very expensive, but it was worth every penny. At the end, Teacher Nora has to go to your school and she has to grade one of your classes in order to give you your ELT certification. And of course, when she was there, this is what I did. You know, we were doing the going to for the future, and I started writing, you know, on the board and whatever. And she said, congratulations, you did a great job with your board, and I want to have a picture of your board to put it as evidence in my presentation. I said, perfect. Okay, so that's how you handle the board. Okay. Okay. All right. It says read the article using the board. I'm going to go out of this presentation. If you please turn on your computers, because you're going to need access to the file using the board. Yes, ingeniería. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, these are 5 pages. Don't be like the students and say, I know, it's too much. There's a lot of spaces. Yeah, there's a lot of spaces. If I reduce the spaces, this goes to 3 pages, okay? But there's a lot of spaces for a purpose. Okay, what I want you to do, and I'm going to give you some time on this. I want you to read, okay? The complete article is 5 pages. I'm going to give you some time. And then when we come back, I want you to give me your opinions on what you read, okay? So we're going to take approximately, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes to read, okay? Maybe 15 minutes. Please take notes as you read, okay? Because I will be asking you questions about this. Meanwhile, I'm going to go with Teacher Pedro because Teacher Pedro doesn't have an account, okay? But he can have it. Okay, teacher. Oh, right here, you're not going to have internet because I'm using this cable.
Okay, no worries. I was reading that yesterday
Okay.
and I have it.
All right.
This
Okay.
one is too slow.
So maybe for you, teacher, better you can sit here. I'm going to help you. How are you with technology? You're good? Yes. I'm glad you could join us. I'm glad you could join us. Thank you for coming. You ready? Mhm. It's horses, and then it says May 11th. Mhm.
Classroom management.
Yes, and then it says Blackboard, using the Blackboard. It's a word.
Okay.
Okay. You want to open with Firefox or Chrome? It's fine. Yeah. Did I have your input so I can write the notation? Okay, the page is.
It's using the code.
Did you enter? Yes, okay, I'll be right there because I have to open here so that you can have access.
What is?
This is a platform where I put all the material for this course. You can have access to the material. Okay? So we're going to enter here. So we're going to enter somewhere. For this class you are a student. You see? Right there. Put that there. 2B in the green. Yes, that.
2B.
2B PMS hyphen No, that's underscore. Okay. Right there. H, P, C, A, no, C. A, P. Mm-hmm. All right, please register. Okay, you have to register. If you want, on your notebook, write the email you will use and the password so that you don't forget. Okay? Oops, sorry. Ready, teacher?
I don't remember my password.
You can put a completely new password. Okay?
No?
No, you can put a different password. It's okay. Okay, just remember, write it on your notebook so that you don't forget. Okay? 1 minute. Okay, you finished? Register? It's okay. It can be a different. We're going to use this. Okay. Is your email correct? Pedro Orozco Gomez@gmail.com is correct? Okay. We're going to put this password for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. We're going to put password. Yes. 1, 2, 6. And your mail was? Double all right. Orozco Gomez at gmail.com. Okay, right here, Pedro, we have courses, only English teachers. And we're going to have the material. Okay, here we are, lesson 5, page 12, management. Yes. And this is what we just read. This is that the presentation that we have been using. Okay, and this is the word. You can see it from here, better, or if you want to download it to your computer or something, you can click here, okay, and it's going to download. All right. And click open up your document. Okay. They gave us how many points to look at? 6. Board basic, organizing your board, what you can do with the board, and final tips. 4. Okay. Let's start with board basics. Adriana,
Okay.
board basics. What did you get from that?
Well, you have to move quickly.
Uh-huh.
When you write something,
Mm-hmm.
another point is, can be free if you develop the ability to write and still watching your students. That's how we learn.
That's the best one.
Another one, write clearly,
Mm-hmm.
and I think size,
The size.
one of the size.
Yes.
And the colors, and then, well, I read, that this colors are black and
Yes.
well, just a black. but
Yes,
the other
yes.
one,
Absolutely.
So student commission. The student have visual memory, so we must be careful about what we
Right.
read, spelling and
Good. Okay. So this point is like the most extensive and it has many particular points. The easy ones, the size. Yes, we have a lot of teachers that write, they write beautiful. It's impressive. I wish I had that kind of handwriting, but teeny tiny. Yeah, teeny tiny. So it doesn't work. Okay, so you need to, make your letter size a little bit bigger. And then clear and neat. Yes, also. I don't know if I'm almost sure you did, but if you had those teachers that wrote in handwriting, yeah, and it was very difficult handwriting, yeah. Okay, so now we know that we shouldn't write in handwriting, right? We have to write in normal handwriting. Okay, spelling errors, vital. It says here we go again with the visual part of the student. If the student is visual, right? And we make a mistake when the student goes back to his memory to remember how the word is spelled, the student is going to write it that way. And it has happened, for example, to me that I check the exam and I put it wrong. And then I say, the student says, teacher, it's because you wrote it like this on the board. Claro que no. I'm perfect, and then what I do is I check the other notebooks, and if it's the same, it was my fault, right? So we have to be very careful when we are writing. When we have text like this one, for example, I tell the students, watch out, okay, because this is British English, so you're going to have a lot of OUs, and you're going to have somewhere around there we had here. See, practice with SE instead of CE. And I tell them, this is not misspelled. This is British English. Okay. So and then they ask you, or when we use British books, okay. And then they say, okay, teacher, which one is correct? How do you want me to write it? And then you have to admit both. Because even if you are American English teacher, you are teaching with British text. So you have to admit both. Whatever they feel is best for them, you have to admit it. Okay, so yes, spelling. Now, the hardest one here, I think, is going to be the writing part. Okay, when you become a teacher, they never tell you that you have to take a course on how to write on the blackboard. Okay, and then we start writing, giving our back to our students, right? So we start writing like this. And then we start doing we do this, right? And then the students in the back, right? They start doing it. And then they start passing messages and then things like that. So we have to stop writing like that. I'm going to go to the video part because I want all the other students to see what I'm gonna do. Okay. So come on.
Not for English teachers.
For all teachers, definitely.
Maths and is too much important for the
Yes,
the order.
is the order, the structure.
Yeah, the student is order for the process, the problem of game.
Absolutely. In math, like you said, math is patterns and formulas. And you need order, you need the process that you sent me, right? You need that order. So if you don't give your student the order, what's going to happen to the student's mind?
Yeah.
Right? You're going to drive the student crazy. Okay, so for writing, I don't know. Maybe we're going to write a sentence. We're going to talk about the going to and will. So what I'm going to do is, okay, guys. So today we're going to look at going to and will. Can anybody tell me what you think going to is used for? It's okay. You can say whatever. It's fine. Going to is used for the future. Okay, so going to, it is used for the future. Okay, good job. All right. So you are doing this.
Yeah.
You're writing sideways. Okay. For some people like the cross version. Okay, they write like this. It. For me, it hurts my back. For me, this is fair. Okay, but if you have a flexible back, and maybe you can do it. Okay, if you're younger, okay, but not like me. Okay, so this is how you write, and you always have the attention on the student. Okay, you don't give your back on. Never, ever. You have no idea what they're doing. Okay, so you just have to practice. You just have to, and it took me like 2 months, I think, to learn this, because you want to be here, right? And then the students, if you write like this, your students are. They don't even know. They don't tell you carne de burro no es transparente because you failed them, right? But it's like, yeah, excuse me, teacher. And so if you're writing in orderly, let's say this is the section. Oops, this is the section where I'm going to write. In my case, I have college students that are this big, so this is their section. This is my section because I'm chaparrita. Okay, so I will start writing here. Okay, and so everything I do is going to be handled. Here, and I'm not covering. Okay, no matter what, I'm not covering. Okay, I am going to go to the park. See, and your student saw the sentence the whole time. You'd never covered.
You see the picture for the 3 idiots? The virus.
Oh, remember that he recommended a picture?
For the teacher views, is white or both events.
Both.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah,
Writing at the same time.
Mhm. There is a.
I recommend.
We have to see it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
We have to see it. I promise you, I will see it tomorrow.
All right. Yeah.
Promise
Me
you.
too. Me too. I have to see.
I promise you, I will see it tomorrow. Definitely. I need relaxing time tomorrow, so I'm going to see it tomorrow. Okay.
What is the title?
The Three Idiots.
3 idiots.
The Three Idiots. Okay.
The WhatsApp for the
Yeah.
link.
But did you send it to the group or did you just send it to me?
No, the group.
You sent it to the group? Okay.
Okay.
Remember that there is a like you open file, docs, and no sé qué. In links, it's right there. You can look for it there. Okay, so the writing section, the writing part is, is vital. You give it back to the students. You have them controlled. Nanita, be quiet. Okay, and you continue writing right here. Don't give your back to your students. Okay, you can do it. It takes because you have to get used to it, and then the first times you are doing this. You start like, woo-hoo! You start going down because you're not used to it. It's okay. Give yourself a chance, okay? Until you get used to it, and then you start writing. And then you start writing, straight and nice and neat and everything. Okay, so definitely. Okay, I think, like I said, I think that's one of the hardest ones. I'm gonna go back to the presentation. Okay, so everybody can see. All right. All right, so there we have many things. We have colors, we have size, we have neatness and organization. We have how to write on the board, and we have spelling, right? Okay, did you take notes? It's a lot of things. Okay, this is just the whiteboard. It's so impressive. This is just the whiteboard. Okay, all right. And then it gives you that teeny tiny example. Okay, like which one is better? Yes, a lot of people love, when I write in cursive handwriting, they say, teacher, qué bonito escribe. Yeah. You know, well, I live in the United States, and when you're in the United States, they teach you handwriting when you're in second grade. So, you know, you learn it. But they don't understand it. So, yes, it's very pretty, but it's, yes, it's useless. I mean, I use it for me for my notes, right? For me for my notes, but that's about it. Okay. All right. So we have here, we already mentioned, you have to check what you write because of your your students' visual memories, right? The process, the order, the structure, everything there is very important. And also this, no matter how many times I tell the students, hey guys, you know what I tell you or what I write for you, you can change it. For example, when we look at graphs, yesterday we were with main idea and supporting details. So I made the graph, right? And I told them, okay. And I said, okay, guys, these are main idea, major details, minor details. And exactly the way you draw it, they copy it. Exactly the same. And I tell them, don't copy it. You can do it differently. You know, you can make circles instead of squares. Or maybe you can draw like spark bubbles or, you know, things like that. Don't copy it exactly the same. Do it differently. And then they still continue doing it the same. They say, no matter how many times. So if you're the model and you're not doing it right, right?
The problem is this is not something today. Okay, go before that.
Yeah, they take the picture. Yeah, can I take the picture? And then I say, and what are you gonna do? You think you're gonna study from your cell phone? Nobody, you're gonna be on cell phone, on WhatsApp. You're gonna be trying to study, and your WhatsApp is gonna go ding, 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 ding. Distraction. I don't let them take the picture. I don't. Only if it's like the last 2 or 3 minutes of the class, I let them take the picture because then the next teacher's gonna come and it's going to erase the board. But I tell them, I want to see it tomorrow on your notebook. But I know we do the same, huh?
Yeah, but the teachers is for the not too much the right and the
Mhm.
example for the principal, yes, it's only the copy. For the other
Right.
text, isn't the material copies, but the copy
Yes, it's an abstract, exactly. It's what it is. Yeah. And really, I have talked to this with various teachers from different subjects. And I tell them, do you know the importance of the board? A lot of teachers don't even use the board. They don't use it. It's like I write my English class, and my English class is 8 o'clock in the morning. I write stuff on the board, and then the students are copying and say, okay, when you finish, jefe de grupo, erase the board. They never erase, guys. So I just go. I come back the next day at 8 o'clock, and my stuff is there. My stuff. It's like, and what did the other teachers do? And not only the morning teachers, the afternoon teachers, because my school goes from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then I start getting worried and I go, okay, what English teacher gives class in this? And then I don't know, Moraima, for example. And I go, Moraimita, what did you do in your English class? Oh, we are with present perfect. And how did you see the present perfect, mijita? Because the board had my stuff. Oh, it's because I used the PowerPoint and the exercises and the examples and the vocabulary and the homework or in the pages. And what happened? Okay, I'm going to use the board. I hate it. They have to use the board. Some people are very lazy, okay? And they're even lazier because they know, for example, my English teachers know that they have to use structure in their board, okay? So
is the problem now. For other
Yeah.
persons that, the, yes, is no,
But it's a tool. It's just a tool. They need, remember what they said, our old teachers used to say, okay? Hay que arrastrar el lápiz. Remember they said that? Okay. This is also a tool. Writing gives signals to the
Yeah.
brain. We cannot eliminate writing. We can't. It's part of the learning process. Our students have to do that. Okay. And for example, my students, they know, because at the beginning they said, teacher, nos manda la presentación parte. No, mijito, it's mine. Órale, get to work. Yeah, get to work and take notes. Notes. Open a parenthesis. PowerPoint, take notes. They want to copy everything.
yeah. Oh,
That's not notes. Right? So now I give them fragments in PowerPoint presentations, fragments. And then I tell them, yes, and I tell them everything. And I said, write what you see and what you hear. Catch ideas. Right?
is king of the mensaje esperado.
Okay. Be in a spirit learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Unexpected.
the classification for the aprendizaje is scientific, teórico científico, or científico práctico. Right?
Yes.
Is the you use it the tools
Yes.
or technology or Blackboard.
Or Blackboard. Exactly.
Is necessary.
Yes. I tell them that.
Visual.
Yes, I tell them that you can't replace it. And I tell them the perfect example is that no matter where you go, you're always going to find a whiteboard. You're going to have a TV, like the TV and the whiteboard, or the projector and the whiteboard. And there are many places where you will only find the whiteboard, but you will never only find a TV. Never. Because this is irreplaceable.
The English need for the mathematics.
Oh, English.
The visual house.
Yes.
For the English. It's not
Yes.
like grammatical problems.
No.
It's English lesson. You need more tools and technical anything.
Absolutely. Exactly. And especially in English, like Ingeniero said, yes, we definitely need the board. If you're not using the board, you're not doing your job. You're not doing it. I'm sorry. You might be like the coolest teacher ever. Okay. Your students might love you and adore you because you have like really nice PowerPoint presentations or Prezi presentations that are so fantastic. Wow, who doesn't like Prezi? But if you're not using the board, you're not doing your job correctly. Exactly. Exactly. Mhm. Yeah. And you say, sorry, mijito. Yeah, you have to do it. Exactly. And you know that, you spend a lot of time writing on the board. Okay. You do, but you need it. Okay. This is not always, but you do need it. You need the board. Even sometimes, like for example, and it says here on the reading, I don't know what I don't remember what part it is, where it says that you sometimes simply use it to write down the page numbers of the exercises. Okay. So you have your board divided over here, you have the division right here, and you say, okay, guys, you're going to work on your student book, pages 11 through 13. Because if you don't, what happens? ¿Qué página vamos a hacer? ¿Qué dijo?
Even if
Teacher.
you want it.
Yes, but if you write it, you just go, it's always on this corner. Why don't you look over here? Okay? Or you just you know where it is. Okay? And you educate them. And then later you don't have to fight that. They already know that the teacher always puts it, boom, right there.
When they say, teacher, there's a lot of information, I was like, I wrote it too, so you have to write it.
Uh-huh. Yes, and I'm standing up, and it's harder to write you know, with your hand like this and with your hand like this, and I'm viejita and you're not, and you know, you just give him a bunch of excuses. Yeah. Yeah. But you have more arguments than they do. Okay. So then we have all this. Thank you very much, Adriana, for reading it. We're going to put into practice in just a little bit. Okay. The next one, organizing your board. Ingeniero, what do you remember from this? What did you get from this? Is there only one structure, one way to put it? No. No. There are many.
We must use it for the altos and the total space.
Mhm.
It's not only the blackboard, it's the wall, the ceiling, the floor. I
Yeah.
have the floor
Yes.
for the degree.
Oh, for the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, measuring of the shadows.
We
Mhm.
space it for the
Tile.
Yeah, tiles. Excuse me, my Spanish.
It's okay, I can help you. It's okay, I can help you.
Yeah. I like the blackboard for that.
Mhm.
I have in Mexican teacher, 2 blackboards. Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know.
All,
Yeah,
Other classrooms have.
yeah.
those are cool.
Yeah. For the, is it master? Is it?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the plaster. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the blackboard.
Oh, yeah.
The chalk.
The chalk. Good.
On the-
It was a disaster.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
But I like. I use the white chalk and yellow chalk. I like.
Oh, the yellow chalk was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe I am a man a few words.
You remember a few words. Okay, let's help Ingeniero a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, we have different patterns. You don't have to get married with one pattern. Okay, this one could be one, and then where you have the main material of the lesson, it says here. Okay, this one you can erase and again, use over and over again. Here, you do not erase it because you have the keywords that you're going to use throughout the whole lesson. And then over here, you have some casual writings, like additional information that comes up in the class, but you can clean it up when it's necessary.
Remember, never use your blackboard or whiteboard for the material for the tape.
Oh yeah,
It's not good simple. This is the problem with you get
the tape,
The tape.
it doesn't come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's better. It says here to use the wall. Mhm.
Yeah.
To use the wall, definitely, absolutely. Okay, this one is similar to Cornell Notes, the example that what I was talking about, Cornell Notes. So you have here a bottom part that you can use for conclusions or anything like that. But this is just another way of doing it. All right. Oh, and here it also says that have into consideration, the sizes of your students, right? Because if you have little kids, you should write on the top so that when they come to the board, they have access, right? That's why I gave the example. For me, I write on the bottom, and my gigantones,
Yeah.
they write on the top. Okay, you know how they're very cruel and very malditos. Okay, they write. I tell them, you give me an exercise, and then they write it over here. Yeah, and they have the teacher, the puntitas teacher guys, or they have the extra super chaparrita, short girl in the class, and then they do the same thing. I have one. Her name is Damaris, but she's like this big. I swear, she's like 150 or 145, and they always do that to poor Damaris. All right. So the size of your students, organization. Okay, what can we do with the board, Profe?
Well, it's an excellent tool.
Mhm.
I use a lot of Blackboard.
Mhm.
and I'm learning right now how to use the correct.
Okay.
Use with the very messy. I realize that I was.
We all do teacher at the beginning,
I was
trust
very
me.
messy. Well, I can structure
Yes,
correct,
yes.
left, or remember, right, or be creative. Or
And
healthy brain.
it's
Creative?
free.
Sorry, remember?
Remember.
Creative.
Remember.
Yes.
Very important.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We said it, right? We said if we want our students to remember the example of the adjectives and the nouns, over here, right in the left. If we want our students to make sentences, over there. Okay, continue, Profe. Please.
Well, we can use a lot of cartulinas.
Cardboards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For remember us,
Mhm.
verbs, or two common words, get up, go away, go out.
Phrasal verbs, yes.
Those are verbs. I use definitely black chalk, black
Like marker?
marker, yeah, magistral metálico,
Okay.
very good.
Yes.
And this
This.
is very cheap.
Oh yeah. They're from Office Depot, right?
Yes,
Yes, they're from Office Depot. Okay.
and I realized that I write in my back to the class.
Mhm. Yeah. Like I said, we don't realize it until somebody tells us. Okay, and it's fine. You know, this happened. Like I said, this happened to me too when I took the course. Like, right? This guy. Yeah, 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 definitely. They're terrible. You know, some students are really terrible. In my school, there's a teacher. She's like the Jessica Rabbit. You know Jessica Rabbit?
Yeah.
Okay, she's like the Jessica Rabbit of teacher. Jessica Rabbit teacher is that,
Oh, yes, okay.
you know, really very, very sexy woman. So she's like the Jessica Rabbit of our school. And she always wears dresses, short dresses. Okay, like this much above the knee. Big, you know. Malditos students. Because they would say, Oiga, teacher, she teaches something about administration, I don't know what. And, oiga, teacher, ¿cómo no nos pone ejemplos de, you know, whatever? Sí, muchachos, claro que sí, por supuesto. And she writes like this. What do you think they were looking at?
Examples.
Oh.
The examples, right? And then, you know, I know this because I was walking by, and then I go like this. Says, you know, occasionally you want to know what's going on in the other classrooms. Metiche, right? And then you go like this, and she was doing this, and the student was taking a picture.
Yeah.
Taking the picture. I didn't tell her she has a comadre there, and I told her, comadre, oiga, tell your comadre that they were taking pictures of her caboose. You know, that she, yeah, obviously, I mean, I'm not in their Facebook, but for sure, in all their WhatsApp, and imagine all the memes. Okay, and I tell her that there are techniques for writing on the board, right? I don't know if she ever told her. You know, if I see her, I said, no quiero hacer coraje, so I just go like this. I don't look at her classroom anymore. But, you know, you have to watch out.
What they did to one of the teachers in one school that I worked was that like they take a picture, but they put their hand like near the cell
Oh.
and it looks like they're talking.
Yeah, like they're touching the butt.
Yeah.
See, malditos, they're mean.
Yes.
They're mean. So, yeah, on your side. Yeah, do it on your side. And maybe like this, you know, do it because they're terrible.
We're looking for the positive direction.
Mhm.
In this class is zero in assistance.
Yeah, zero. Yeah, Yeah, but she never knew ingenio. She never found out. Más ejemplos. Sí, cómo no. No me quedó. Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah.
No.
It could be, but it's still not ethical. Still not ethical. Yeah, if she goes dressed like that to school where we have majority men, something is going on. But you're not being ethical. Dress however you want, but in the classroom, what are you teaching? What are you teaching? What are you teaching? Okay. Anyways, so yes, profe, we use the board for all these, for posters, to put pictures, so on and so forth. It says here to use things like spidergrams. You know spidergrams?
No.
Okay. It says spidergrams for vocabulary. So for example, your vocabulary today is food. Okay, so you put food and then you put circle and okay guys, and listen, yeah, give me names of food, and then they start saying hamburger. Good, what else? And then this, things like that.
Teacher, how do you say enchiladas in English?
Enchiladas. Yes.
Yes, but they always have.
Yes, enchiladas.
Corn tortillas with chili.
Yes, one time I said tortillas. Tortillas. Corn tortillas or flour tortillas. Yeah. And then mango. How do you say mango? I say mango. No, it's mango. With the O. Yeah, banana.
The one that I always say in Spanish because I don't like the name of way.
Uh,
I don't like
The guava?
Yes. I like that name.
Yeah, guayaba, guava. Yeah, it doesn't sound the same, but it's like, it sounds like,
Yeah. Just like,
yeah, they always do that with the vocabulary. Okay, yes, so you can make graphs of any kind. Graphs are fantastic, but what did say it?
I love the games.
Games, perfect.
With kids, I love to, and with teenagers too, because they love it. I work with grown-ups too, and they still play. But the high sweaters, when you write like different words on the board, like the vocabulary you're working with, and you said like you have like 2 teams and 2 kids. Okay, find the word water. They have to hit the word, the one that finds it first.
What do you use to hit?
The word.
Yeah, what do you use?
Swatters, fly swatters, the name. Like,
yeah, okay.
That's what they use.
Okay.
I give them 1 each, and you know that long time ago they sell one that has like a word.
Oh, that's
right.
right.
They love them.
The foot. It was a foot.
It was like a sandal.
It was a sandal? I remember the foot.
Like the flip flops.
Yeah.
We use. They had
The
those.
chancla.
Yes,
Voladora.
they love to play with those. I had like 2 teams and they hit the word.
Thank you for sharing. I'm going to use that. I'm going to buy some.
They
Yeah.
love to play like that because you have like all the whole word, the
Mhm.
whole
Board.
whiteboard,
Mhm.
and you have words like everywhere.
Uh-huh.
If you're working with verbs,
Mhm.
I have like present and past tense, and I have find the past tense of the verb break, and they hit break and no past tense, and they go with past tense.
And then it's just like one big.
Yes, and they laugh a lot.
Oh,
but
I
they
love
learn a lot.
it. I love it. I'm
I
going
love
to do
those.
it.
I love those things too. And
Mhm.
I divide sometimes the board.
Yeah.
And I go like, okay, give me the, I don't know, adverb for this word. Or, yes, I change like the adjectives for adverb or whatever.
Mhm.
And they have to write it. The one that writes faster is the one that gets the point. And now what I do is the free homework.
Ah, okay.
That's what I'm doing with my students.
Mhm.
They're like tricky free homework.
Yes.
But they don't know.
They don't know. They don't know.
So they love to play free homework.
Yeah.
And they,
Oh, that's great. I love those activities. The reason why I ask you what you use is because I also play a game like you hit the bullets eye. It's a target, and then the target has points, and then I ask them a question. If it's correct, they get a chance to hit the bullseye. But I use wet paper. I use wet paper. Yeah, at the end it has a purpose. The wallpaper we clean the whole thing, and then the next teacher gets a nice clean whiteboard. But it's like, and then they're just going, yes.
I think that before the use the word is really difficult in this moment, in this moment, because before the teacher had the authority to use the word, and now for the situation of the students, it's very difficult to use the word. The reason is because the students they are very difficult or very disciplined.
Yes.
Disciplined, and for this reason, the authority before when this teacher before and the teacher had the authority, and in this moment very difficult. And necessary in this moment to put, for example, the patients only and do not stay back.
Yeah, give the back.
Because the students use in this moment to use for example throw papers
Yeah.
and use the phone and stand up and go out to the classroom.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. I think that before the teacher used this his or her authority
Mhm.
and work the school work was working before now. This is my idea, my opinion.
Yeah. It's valid.
Related with this with the technology and whatever activity for the teacher and the schools in the world.
Yeah, but we talked about improvising, right? So imagine you have a classroom where it's going to be under maintenance for maintenance for, I don't know, let's say a week, and you don't have technology for a week. You have to use the board. You always have to use the board, and even if they are undisciplined, if they are rowdy, noisy, rebel, whatever, this is always going to be your tool, no matter what. So you have to make the best of it. Always, Diana.
That is true. We have like some students that are not like frontal or whatever, but in my class they gave us a list, and I have like two students that are on that list because they are students that have a lot of problems with the teachers, and they don't like to work and everything. But I talked to them the first day because they started like that, and since they know that they get
Listen.
something for the class, like the games,
Mhm.
they love to play. They're like high school students,
Yeah.
but they love the games and they ask for them. Even though it is part of the class, they don't think working. Like they're not working, they're playing. So they relax and they are very, very good students. And they ask me for the reports and I say, they're excellent and they have everything and they see my notes and but it's because maybe every single teacher are like the students are like this and but when you present something different to them that you trust them and you tell them like this week you work like excellent.
Yeah.
I like that. And they feel like really good because you're trusting them. You're not
Yes.
like pointing at them in a bad way. So at the end of the class, if they finish on time, it is like 2 times a week. I give them like 10 minutes. Sometimes it's a tongue twister, sometimes it's another activity. And they play and they wait for the game. But if they were like talking a lot and they didn't finish, we don't get that day to play. So they wait for that and they behave a lot in class. If you have problems with students, I don't know, it worked for me and they like to go and write on the board and have those like team games and everything.
Okay. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
We need, we need now the teaching style. Is more important.
Yes.
For the my style is I remember from the student person. You like that or the one that advanced?
Running everywhere.
Yeah. I'm exploring my style.
Yes. Yes.
It's my style. Maybe it's not like or money, but it's my style.
Yeah.
again, the student learn for um, sentidos,
Census.
senses. Yeah. Okay, the student, this is the door.
Mhm.
Open the door. Open the door. It's a big door. Small door.
Uh-huh. Yes. Use the elements of the class.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Black door. White door.
Yeah.
It's used for all space and things, anything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And in your style teaching is very important.
Yeah.
We need know what is my style.
Yes.
But maybe I don't know. I don't know. No sé cómo ser. Maestro serio, teacher.
Serious teacher.
Yeah, serious teacher. It's not for me.
It's not your style.
No, it's not.
No.
Maybe for the use this style for maybe the student is aburrido, o sea,
Boring, yeah.
But in my class for the remember for class for physical, yeah. Okay, boys. Well, okay. Grace, come on, please. Gilberto, what time is the grease? You push the grease for the first floor, or
Mhm.
yeah, for the first. What time is grease start for the join for the floor?
Okay.
Okay, you push. Okay, the voice is always. What is the time in the any
What
study?
is this thing?
Zero.
Yeah.
What's it for what? When the Gilberto is push me, I am gone. O sea, me quité y se
Yeah, I got
okay. Bueno, anything, ¿no?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then if you have them, yes, and it's perfect. The students need. We said at the beginning, student needs all kinds of style. Okay, because if all their classes are only funny, they get bored too. So they need the roller coaster. Ingeniero is coming. Fun class, and then we have teacher Berenganita. The slow class, and then up again, and then they need those. They need those. Okay, never to the two extremes, because imagine only the serious teachers. Come on, right? We kill them. All right, but they need all different kinds of styles in their life. That should never change. All right, and yes, we have many different games. It says here something like Hangman that they can use. Have them run to the board and write something. Many different activities. So we don't not necessarily technology the whole time, right? We can also use our whiteboards. Okay, as display. All right, the next one. Yeah, playing games. Oh, in this part, in the pictogram, I'm going to try to find it for you, because I don't know you, but I am a terrible drawer. You too? You too?
I had a teacher at the university. She was drawing a picture of a man lying on bed. Well, who was getting up or something like that. But his leg was like this.
Oh.
Like university students.
Yes.
We look at the image.
What's that?
What is he doing? And when she said, this is the leg. And we started laughing, and he got mad at us, and she said, when you start teaching, you're going to have these problems.
Yes. Most of us these are our drones. That's like as far as it gets, right? And it's okay. Our class is not teaching class. I used to have a colleague. His name is, and I love him, Dr. Sanchez Pacheco. And he taught them health and, things like that. And I hated to have my class after his class, because in 45 minutes, he would draw the entire heart and the vessels and the systems. So I got there, was like, no quiero borrar esto. It was beautiful. I mean, personally, I started thinking, it takes you at least 30 minutes to write 15-minute classes. Like, no, está loco, ¿eh? But, you know, it was beautiful. What I ended up doing is I told the students, every time he draws something, take a picture. Take a picture because I'm going to erase it. And at the end, I want you to give him an album of all the drawings he made for you. Yeah, and you know, they loved him. So at the end, it was a nice gift that they gave him. But I mean, we don't have the time to waste on drawings. I'm going to try to look for the book. It gives you basic elements on how to make drawings. You can call them drawings. Okay. Yeah. And your students may laugh at your pictures too.
Yes, I always tell them that. Okay, use your imagination.
Yes, and you're drawing and you're telling me this is the sun.
Teacher, it's not. I told you to use your imagination.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want, label it. Etiquételo.
Yeah.
This is the sun. This is the man. This is so that you don't forget, right? Because like I said, they put everything in their notebook. Okay, so these are like, you know, simple examples. Yes, how to make a pig, how to make a rabbit, so on and so forth. Okay, and then we have final tips. Diana, which one caught your attention the most?
The first one.
Okay, interactive.
Yes, that's the one that I like because I used to use it like with them.
Mhm.
They play and sometimes they complete like the blanks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But where it says like present or given work, you can allow one group to work on the board. I like that part because I have some students that I know they're not getting the complete idea or something.
Mhm.
And when they go to a board, I can explain it,
Okay.
and I don't use it that much, so I can do something.
Okay.
The one that I like.
Yes, and it's interesting because it's like you look at the word interactive and then you think the board, which is something steady, and it doesn't make sense. But then when you start telling the students, okay, Diana, complete sentence number 1, ingeniero number 2, Pedro number 3, that's interaction. From there, that's interaction, simple interaction. Okay, ask the students to come and draw, definitely. Use the board to support, to give instructions, examples, and feedback, absolutely. Instructions. Okay, and this is just the page, but you can say, make 10 sentences of whatever, it's there for them. It's as aid to discipline. Well, I don't know about you. It worked. It definitely worked. I remember some teachers, right? They would write extra homework on one side, right? And then if Diana, you're talking, and Diana, you're talking, then Diana, chill. My name is on the extra homework. But you have to be quiet at least for the rest of the class. If you're not quiet, it stays. If you're quiet, I can erase it, right? Yeah. And then when you do this, yes, it works. It works. And then you talked again. Tachita. Next to your name. That's like the emoji. No.
And sometimes you have like that group that never stop talking, and then you separate them and they talk to one corner to the other, and you say, okay, it's going to be homework for the whole class. And the other students are, be quiet, and they are like,
They help you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they help you.
Making pressure.
Yeah, the leader always says, no lo peguen. Right? Yeah. They ignore him for the rest of the class. All right, so yeah, you can use it for discipline too. See, write a child's name up on the board. Absolutely. Your board is organization. It's an organizational tool. We already discussed why it's an organizational tool. We use it as a memory to store things, right? Absolutely. And we have to, the more organized the board is, the more organized your students are going to be as well. All right? Okay. So teachers, this is your work. Well, I'm going to give you recess, and then you're going to come back and you're going to work. Okay? Let's see. Your work is going to be individual. Last session, we were looking at grammar. You remember? Okay, if you saw the video, we were working with grammar. we were, let's see, because I have like 10 different grammars. Well, maybe if I go to school, which is better. Okay. So, yes, right here. And we were teaching grammar part 1. And we had all the verb tenses. Oops. Okay. I'm going to open that one up. Okay, and so right here, we started looking at the simple present. Over here. Okay, we started with verb to be. So now, for this session, we're supposed to look at simple present with other verbs, with action verbs, okay? And in order to talk about the third person singular and the changes, because we have to look at, of course, the subject, and then we have to look at the different verbs. We don't give them like, this is the list of 60 verbs, learn it for tomorrow, because that's what we love to do. Yeah, no tenemos tiempo. You have 2 days to learn the 60 verbs. No, that's not how you do it. Okay, and so what you do is you choose the verbs. You can do it any way you want. That's not a problem. You can say, you can start with the verbs that they recognize. Maybe if you start with the verbs that they recognize is better because they don't have to learn 2 things, just one, the structure. Okay, or maybe you want to start in order. We're going to learn the first 10, 15 verbs. Or you can say, okay, which one do you think are the hardest verbs? And then start with the hardest, however you want. Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, and so we're going to start with the affirmative and then the question and then whatever. All right, so what I want you to do is you're going to, when we come back from the recess, you are going to, on your notebook, draw a board. How would you structure the board to teach simple present? Okay, how would you structure the board to teach the simple present? Just the simple present. Okay, just the simple present. All right, and you're going to give us a briefy class, like 3-5 minute class of your structure. So plan it, because when we come back, you're going to write it on the board for us, and then you're going to give us this micro class. Okay, up to you. Up to you. You decide. Okay, if you want to do the class as this is like day 2 that you've been teaching this, fine. Okay, if this is the first day you're teaching this, the first day, anything you want. I just want to see how you're going to structure on the board. All right, and use the structure of the board. Any questions? No? Okay, you have 15 minutes recess, exactly 15 minutes, okay? No more. Okay, teachers, outsiders, so do the same. Try to work on your organization of your Blackboard. Okay, use the same topic. All right, and if you want me to check it, if you want me to see how it is, just send it to my email. Okay, so I can check it out and give you some feedback. All right. Okay, so in 15 minutes we will be back in class.
veces está directamente con tres. No voy a abrir tampoco paso de ellos. No, yo también tuve no.
You have Reese's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Reese's?
Yes,
Yeah.
you have Reese's. Really?
This is really bad for the
Okay. Yeah, you I forgot the word. Yeah.
start to work.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, what is the song?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's too hard.
7:30.
Uh-huh. You did the whole house?
Um, yeah, it's at the house is that for
Oh, for a friend. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 of course.
my son says, I need the
Suit?
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We work.
Did you work with tar or impact?
Impact.
Impact. Okay. Mm.
But from the roof,
Yeah.
you see the neck,
The nail. Mhm.
and put the
I give up. Oh my gosh.
it's maybe
Did you have your vaccine? Your
maybe
tetanus?
not quite.
You need it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no wonder you were late. You were working. It happens in here. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It depends, right? But I can improvising.
Yeah.
I use the computer and the word.
Good.
I finish
Good. Good because you're going to need it when you pass. Okay. Fantastic. No problem. So next week, what is? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they can watch the class online. Yeah. How many teachers are we going to have in Juarez? Do you know?
no,
No. Okay. All right. Nope. We'll see how many teachers we get to have. Yes, a lot of the teachers today they send me a message. Lupita, she called me. She said that she this morning, uh, one of her a pipe exploded. Yeah. It's no sabe qué caos tengo. Yeah. She was inundated. Yeah, she said, I'm really sorry. No, I said, don't worry. Mhm.
what is it now?
Yes. She sent me a message on Monday.
Yeah.
On Monday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got in contact. And right now in the morning, she called me and she said that this has happened. She said, can you please send me the link? Yes, Lupita, don't worry. I'll send you the link. Lupita. And Irma, she said her daughter, I think, was going to confirm confirmation. She's going to have to
What time will the class finish?
at one. At one. Yes, at one. If we if we finish before we go before. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I always say that, huh, profe? If we finish earlier, we go earlier. Mhm. One, yes, exactly the same. One of these days. Maybe today. Okay, so first you started with the work and then the reason, so I'm giving you 9 minutes. We start at 12 sharp.
Teacher, who sings one of these days? I don't know.
One of these days.
One of these days? What's the
But tell me more about the song. Tell me.
song? Sorry, song.
It's a song,
One of these days.
Yeah, I like this.
but I don't remember the song.
No?
That's one of these nights.
Eagles? Eagles?
No, Eagles is one of these nights.
One of these days.
Yeah. Yes, that's Eagles. We have very good, in our times, we had very good music. Right?
I love 60s and 70s
Yes.
and classical music.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
You love 90s? 90s was still good music. Something started happening after the 2000s. Yesterday, I was remembering a teacher. I'm not good with poetry. I never liked that class. And she told me, "Do you like music?" And I said, "Yes, I love music." Ah, it's exactly like music. It's a song. And then, she wasn't my teacher. She was a colleague. And then I started saying, said, she said, "Yeah, it's the same." And then I started, "Mamá el mechón, préndeme el mechón." And she's like, you are always so silly. Well, you said it was like music.
The best music is for the 70s, 80s, 78.
Mhm.
But from my opinion, in my studies, is the Christian music. Example, San Romero, is excellent.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But
Yeah.
the best music is in the is 70 of Juan Gabriel.
Oh, yeah.
But it's according to these people.
Yeah. Yeah, we are kind of losing it. A mí me gusta la gasolina. Right? Dame más gasolina. It's like, oh, what's it talking about?
What my dad said. He was driving my car. He was driving my car. You haven't used steering in your car? I don't even have steering. Well, it was like a song there, like más gasolina.
Exactly. July 7th, I think. Yes. July 7th. And I'm not sure, I don't remember well if July 7th is the last class and then the week after that you make the test again, or July 7th is the day of the test. I don't remember. Yeah, they planned it according to your vacation schedule, but I don't remember. Yeah, then maybe it's July 7th. Mhm. Yes, they planned it according to your vacations.
But if it's in the next one, I can do
Yeah, you can take it eventually when you come back,
it.
because you can go and I can receive you and then I can apply it to you. That's not a problem. Okay, you finished?
Yes.
Everybody?
I want to go.
Did you want to start or you want to go?
No, I want to start now.
Okay. All right. Then Miss Adriana, come forward.
I'm so cold. How can I learn?
The comfort. Okay, Adriana, if you want to, well,
So maybe need calisthenia.
yes.
Let's start first.
Okay, I'm going to do this so that you could have like a, okay, yeah, so we can see your work, but the people are supposed to, yes, they can see you. All right, so they can see you. Yeah, they can see you. Don't worry.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you today?
Fine,
thank Are you ready to start our class?
Yes.
Okay, me too. So today we are going to see something very, very interesting. We are going to see the simple Past tense. Ah, no, sorry, simple. It's what is it? The simple present. Okay. But I need your help. So could you help me and remember the last class we see the pronouns? Could you help me with those? It's I. What is the next one?
I.
You. You. He. She. He. We. And the last one?
You.
They. They. And if you want it, we can repeat it. Okay? If you want it. Okay. After that one, okay, we see also that we have two kinds of verbs. Do you remember me? It's regular verbs and the other ones, irregular verbs. Okay? Regular verbs, well, regular verbs, at the end, it's ed, remember, in the past tense, and irregular verbs, it can be the same one, or you can change it. For example, one example from regular verbs can be work, and in the past tense, how do you say?
And then I'm going to stop you right there
Mhm.
because you're talking about simple present.
But just to remember the other one, doesn't matter.
What do you see first, simple present or simple past?
Well, the simple present.
Yeah.
Like,
But this means that your students haven't seen the simple past.
okay, so I won't say it. Just to,
Right.
that we have
You have your
remembered.
answer right there.
Okay, so we are going to see, well, we have regular and irregular verbs, and that's it. Okay, after that. Well, that's right. Okay, now we are going to have a formula if we want to speak in simple present. So I'm going to put it right here. Formula. We are going to use a pronoun plus it's going to be the verb plus the complement. Okay? So after that, do you know what is the simple present? Anyone from you have idea? What is it? No?
We
You know?
use it for habits.
Yeah, that's right. Routines. What else? Do you know? Actions can be too. Exact. Actions. Okay? So now we are going to do some sentences right here to learn how to use it. Okay? So first, what do we have to use first?
Pronoun.
So tell me anyone from there. Which one do you want to use?
He.
He. Okay, it's going to be he. Now we have to use the verb, okay? So tell me any verb that you know. Un verbo que, well, I cannot speak in Spanish, but okay, work. Okay, a easy one that you can remember. Work. Okay, and then what we have to use the complement, okay? He works, for example, in a store. In a store. But right here is a mistake. What is a mistake? Can anybody tell me? Exactly, right here, because we see the last class, we said that last class, that in third person, we have to use in the verbs, okay, for to pass, okay? So right here, we have to ask. He works in a store. Él trabaja en una tienda, okay? So we are going to create another example. But it's going to be, for example, I. Tell me another verb.
Go.
Go. He, for example, I go. Where do you want to go?
I go to school.
Really good. There is another example. This is in positive, okay? But these sentences, you can use it in negative too. And bien, you can use it in negative. Okay, he works in a store. So, but if it's in negative, you have to use it. He, positive, negative. He works. But right here is missing something. ¿Cómo se dice? No trabaja. doesn't works in a store. This is the way that you have to use it in negative, okay? But right here, we have a contraction. Remember, it's the same. If you were to write it down, it doesn't, okay? Any questions right here? No, you don't have any questions? Okay, positive, negative, but it's missing one, interrogative, okay? I'm going to erase it right here because we don't have enough space. Okay, so we are going to do the same ones. Yes, any question? No? Okay, the next one we have to do, we have in positive, in negative, interrogative. So in interrogative, you have to use this one first, okay? It's a question. Does he works in a store? Él trabaja en una tienda. So that's the way we need to do. Okay? Any questions right here? Is any mistake right here? Tell me, what is it?
La S with works. Oh, sorry. S with works.
Exactly. Because in interrogative,
Because
you
you
don't
are
have to use
using
it.
does.
Exactly. It's like a pleonasmo or something like that, okay? Any question? No? That's, well, right here. Let's go to do the interrogative from this one. I go to the store. Well, first a negative. How can you write it in negative this one? Let's go to do it. Interrogative from this one. Right here. Let's go to do it right here, okay? So right here is in positive. This one is in negative, and this one is in negative interrogative. Next one. Let's go to do it. I go to the store. What is that negative from this one? How do you say?
Don't.
Exactly. Don't go to the school. Okay? And how do you say this one? The same one, but in interrogative. What do I need to do? I have to switch. Do I go to the school? Okay?
Okay, we're going to stop right there. Okay. You're nervous.
Yes, I know.
You are very nervous. And because you are very nervous, you're making plenty mistakes. Okay. First, how does this look? We have to give constructive criticism. Okay, constructive feedback.
Exactly.
How does it look?
It's not organized.
Exactly.
It's not organized. Okay, so maybe she could have used the pattern with only the 3 divisions, right? To use all this space to explain, right? That's the first one. The second one, well, you are talking, let's see. You asked us here, what's simple present for, right? So maybe instead of all this space for only this, here. Okay?
Yeah, because
But you want your students to remember.
need to be right there.
Exactly. Okay? This is
To remember the last class.
yeah, and then this is like too
Uh-huh.
much, this is like, this is occupying too much space.
Mhm.
Okay? So maybe let's say that this is up higher or it's smaller, and over here you put uses.
And you have enough space right here.
Right.
So do all the examples, positive, negative, and interrogative.
Well, let's say that yes. Okay, there are more uses
Mhm.
of the simple present. Okay, another use of the simple present is for absolute truths. Okay,
Mhm.
for example, ice melts, the earth spins.
Mhm.
Okay, so also for absolute truths. All right, not only routines. Actions, this one applies for all because in the simple past is actions and actions. We have to watch out with that. Okay, and then if this were actually a class, remember last session I told you that this is too much for one class.
Positive and negative.
Too much.
Need to be just in simple, well, in positive.
Yes. Okay. I understand that you told us that we had already seen it. Okay, so I was trying to assume that this was like a review of what you had already seen. All right. Now we said that one very important thing when we use the word is spelling errors, okay, and corrections. So teacher Fernando told you one, right?
Yeah.
Does he work blah blah blah, but doesn't? Here's another mistake, right? Okay. And then another mistake, you're talking about negative, and we're talking, and you gave us a question mark
Exactly.
at the end, okay? And then another mistake is the. We don't use thus for places that we usually assist. So it's I don't go to school.
I don't go to school.
Yeah. This is the translation that students make, right? Because we always use in Spanish la escuela, but in English it has no article. Okay, I go to school, I go to work, yeah, to church, places that are of common recurrency. You don't use them. Okay, so see, this is what I mean. Whenever we start, if we try to do it improvised, it's not gonna come out. We're going to. Oops,
Exactly, because I didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
I said, how many examples do I have to write down? So,
Right. I
and
ran out of
when I
space.
think I'm supposed to do just like two, one in positive, well, negative and in terms.
Yes.
But I don't know. You say that it's too much for one class.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like a
So,
whole lot.
And
But,
the,
you know-
the homework supposed to be right here. Oh, the exercise.
Yeah.
Write 5 sentences. by
Yes,
yourself.
exactly. Exactly. Okay. All right. So some minor errors there. Don't forget them. Okay.
Alright.
And remember, see, this is how.
It's the first time that I use
Of course.
structure.
What
Because
I-
I just write, but I didn't use that.
What I liked is that you tried to practice the.
Like
Yeah. You see, this happens when we try it for the first time, but we saw it, right, and then you switched and you tried. It was harder. This, like I said, this side is harder. I don't know how people do it, but you tried it, okay, and that was very, very good. Okay, so don't forget, don't get married with one model. You have different models that you can use based on how much information you need to put down in the center for your students.
Okay.
Okay.
My first class. With
Yes.
Okay.
So good job.
Okay.
All right. Good job. Don't forget your name. Okay, who's next? Asi.
Okay.
1 and 1.
I'm going
May
to
I
use
erase teacher?
democracia. Yes?
May I erase? May I help you?
Sure. But you want to come up next?
Yes.
All right, you do it. Okay, so here's the eraser. Here's some markers, green or black.
Black.
Okay, I think that one's the good.
Morning or afternoon in my class? Okay. Good afternoon. I imagine in my class. Good afternoon, friends. I told friends because they are all people like me. Yes.
Okay, no
Good
problem.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Few words. I am man of few words. Directly. Okay. Today, we are going to learn about simple present tense. We have personal pronouns because we are exist. We are exist. I exist. You exist. He exists. She exists. It exists. We exist. they exist. Okay? I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Yes, we exist. Work, work. If I work, I can eat. If I don't work, I don't eat. Okay, work. Then I work. I work. Okay? You work, you eat. You work, work, work. Okay? You work. He. This is English, not Spanish. We have to add S. It's very important, the S. In Spanish, if you say Navidad, like in English, if you don't put the S, you hear Navidad. Okay? Yes? Navidad. With S, Navidad. This is a rule of English. This is English, not Spanish. We have third person. So person, not person, person. She works, works, work, they work. Work, okay? Work, work. I'm not speak English. I'm not translate. Only with my body language, okay? Body language, body language. Work for eating. If you don't work, you don't eating, okay? And they understand. Present simple tense. Suppose I work just 1 day a week. Once a week. Once a week. Or maybe twice a week. Or work in a restaurant. Or you work in a restaurant. In a factory. School. Okay? No more. Just present, simple, tense, tense, tense. I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Personal pronouns. Okay? We don't use George. This is George. If you prefer change for personal pronoun, you can say he instead of George. Okay? Work. This is the verb. The action of the sentence. The action. Work. Eat. Sleep. Drive. Verb. The complement. Once a week, just once a week, no more. Twice a week. Or maybe you work in a restaurant, factory, in school, everywhere. That's all.
Okay.
No more.
Okay. What happened with the organization of the board? What happened?
Maybe I need more information.
Yes. You need more information. The first information you need is right here. How do you call those? They're time expressions, right? We can use time expressions or adverbs of frequency, okay? Right, that tells you, for example, what it's an adverb of frequency, once a week, twice a week, every day, so on and so forth. So we need to give them the name of the structure. And this is a separate class, okay? Because it's too much information for one class. And then with this one, the same, right? We need to teach them prepositions in on at, which are the basics for simple present, okay? And then explain to them that after the preposition, they can use articles, a, and, or the. I work in the restaurant, or I work in our restaurant, or at even. Like I said, you need to explain in, on, at. Okay, so you need to explain prepositions, and this right here is more vocabulary. Okay, so we have adverbs of frequency, prepositions, article, maybe review. Okay, because we already saw articles with simple present verb to be, and then vocabulary of places. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have the simple present. The teacher explains that we need to add this, and he gives he makes allusion to the word Christmas, and he says this is third person, but we have to specify third person singular, because we also have, this is also third person. Okay, but this is plural, right? So we have to explain that as well. And then the structure. Okay, we need to, like Adriana, for example, she put pronouns on one side so the student could identify the pronouns. And then she gave us a formula, right, on one side, so we could look at the formula and structure, correct? All right, so we need to work more on the management of the board, one, and whenever we give our students examples, we have to think, did we already see this? Or according to the lesson structures, has this student already seen this? For example, for me, simple present, the only thing your students have seen is that, and pronouns, of course. Okay, but that's about the only thing. So we have to be careful. If you saw last Saturday's video, we had the same issue. We had a teacher that was presenting possessives when they hadn't seen possessives. So I said, you can't. Because I asked her, teacher, what's my? And then she starts another class, right? Who took control? The student. And you start blah, 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 blah. And the student, yeah, who cares? But he already distracted you because you put something there that you shouldn't have put in the first place. Okay? Or another teacher who started, she gave us an example with an adjective before a noun. And I said, whoa, ¿por qué? And then she starts giving me the lessons on adjectives, right? We have to be very careful, okay? Because we forget, we know, and so we start just going, we go by the hilito, and then we just start going by the thread, but they don't know, okay? And then we confuse them, okay? So, all right. Profe, work more on the structure of the board, okay? Bring this on your notebook in 2 weeks, because I will see you in 2 weeks. Or if you want to send me the picture so I can check it, it's fine.
Okay.
All right? Thank you. Thank you very much, teacher. Good job. Next, Yanita. Thank you, Profe.
lot of problems with the organization.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, me too.
Welcome to the hell.
Welcome to hell, yes.
Okay, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Okay, today we're going to continue working with simple present. I try to, I'm too short.
I know this board is extremely high.
Okay.
Okay, just pretend.
Okay,
Remember, the top part can be for your students, like me.
I'm going to give you some exercises and I think you're going to finish that part.
Okay, we'll pretend. All right?
Thank you.
We'll pretend.
Okay, we're going to work with simple present. Last time we saw the affirmative, okay? We have the pronouns. We have I. What else? You,
Teacher, you're back.
he.
Uh,
I'm gonna try like this because I can't. I'm gonna try like this.
She.
It's difficult.
It's okay. Practice it here. It's better that you practice it here.
Okay, I, you, he, she, it. Excellent.
I want teacher. I think I teach you.
Guys, remember that if I see your cell phones, I keep them, so don't use
But
them.
teacher, if you're giving them back, you can't see the cell phone.
Like, I can't do it. No, I'm gonna try. You said it took what? 2 months?
Yes, it took me 2 months. Maybe it takes you less.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Okay, I, you, he, she, it. We. Excellent. And they. Very
Look
good.
how the letters change.
I'm gonna try so you can
Let me see
understand.
why,
better.
teacher.
Okay, now,
Let me see why, teacher.
thank you. Now, we are going to work with the verbs that we already know. Okay, we're going to use only 4. We're going to use, what am I doing? Walk. Excellent. Then, what am I doing? Right. Then I'm going to use the verb jump. And I'm going to use the verb
Okay.
open. Excellent. Okay, so for the simple present, we said that we're going to write first the pronoun, then the verb. Yes?
It's hard.
Which one it is? Okay, it's I, you, he, it, we, they. Okay? So we have,
Teacher again.
I don't know what happened. Sorry, pay attention here. Pay attention. Okay. I walk. Okay? I walk. You walk. We're going to use the same one.
You're using your back.
Okay. Now, for these 3, we said that we're going to add the s at the end because we're working with third person singular, right? So we add an s. So it is going to be walks. And then we have this one, and we're writing the same. We walk. And they. Excellent. You remember. Now we're going to do it in the negative form. That's what we're going to learn today. Okay? So for negative, we have an auxiliary. The auxiliary for present tense is do. So for negative, we're going to use don't. Yes, we're going to change it in this one. So it's going to be I. We're going to use jump. I
Don't.
Don't what?
Jump.
I don't jump. Excellent. You don't what?
Yeah.
Jump. Now we have he, she, it. Since they are like,
Teacher, other verb. Oh,
okay, I'm going to use other verbs in here because we're going to do some exercises, but I can use that in this one. Okay, so I can explain it because it's going to change a little bit different. Yes, I'm going to use this one with jump, and we're going to use go with this too, so I can explain how it changes. Yes. Okay. Let me explain. He, she, it.
You're back.
I think it is.
No, don't do it. Because then I'm going to see all the names and everything. I don't want to. Okay, we have he, she, it. We're not going to use don't because these ones are kind of rebels and they're going to change. So we're going to use doesn't. So the s that you're going to add, in the verb, you're going to put it here. Yes. So we don't need in the verb because we already have the change in the auxiliary. That's why we have these because they help. Okay. So the verb is going to remain the same. Jump. Yes. We have these ones and they help. They change everything. We don't have to do anything else. Now we're going to use the verb go so you can see that it's going to be a little bit different. It is going to be we and they. We have go, negative, we don't go, they don't go. Now the different thing in go is because it's going to end in a vowel. It ends in O. So when we have these words, these verbs, we're going to add es instead of only adding s at the end, but the change is going to be here, not in here. That's why I didn't use it because it's going to be the same. So if we have, instead of walk, the verb go, we are not going to use goes. We are going to add es because we have here the letter O. Yes, but if you use it in negative, you change it the same. If you use don't, it's don't go. If you use doesn't go. Yes? So the difference in this one is going to be in the affirmative form. Okay? Now, questions? Because you're going to come and help me with some exercises. You don't have questions? Okay, so I need 2 volunteers. Who wants to come? Or I'm going to volunteer you.
Teacher Pedro and Fernando because they were talking.
Okay, Fernando, come here. And I'm going to ask Grace too because she was the one that was going. Okay, I'm going to give you like 3 different sentences and you're going to complete it with the verb. Yes? So I'm going to give you one with I, one with he, and one going to be negative.
Can you see the back? She loves the back.
I'm going to be at school. I'm going to be working like this, and I'm going to remember.
Try it the other way.
Just that I can't write like this.
Try it.
It's going to be like you said. My letter is going to go.
It's okay.
Okay.
This is the first time. Just try it. Yeah, try it. It's fine.
Open.
She even gets the marker differently.
That is so difficult.
Yes, one.
But I still looking like this, and I
Yes.
Okay.
But we can see your front, and that tells something to the student.
Okay. So I'm not going to give you like a complete sentence like this. We're going to practice only the use of the verb. Yes? Okay. It was who? Pedro? Fernando and Grace because she was the one that was pointing. Can you come and answer? Please. There are some markers you can use. They're not mine, so you can use them. Excellent, very good. Very good. You remembered the S. Excellent. Okay. This one, yes, you're going to write it in a negative form. Yes, you can check this. Very good. Okay, so did you understand the topic today?
Yes.
No questions?
No.
Okay, you have homework. Can I use that space? No, you're not going to write, but that space, I can use it for homework.
Yes,
right? I'm
exactly.
not going to write.
And you use the space before. Okay, I think you have good distribution of the board. Pretty good, actually. One thing, headings,
Oh, yes.
pronouns,
And
verbs, right?
regular verbs.
Regular verbs, homework. The only one you used is this one.
No, and it's
Right,
because,
and then right here, affirmative, and then right here,
it's just
negative.
because my regular, not, I mean, word will be like small.
Yes, I know. We have that too.
So thank you.
And one more thing, something very valuable from Adriana's was the formula.
Oh, yes, I love that.
Okay. So remind them of the formula for the affirmative. Okay, and most importantly, remind them of the formula for the negative. Okay, so that you can actually tell them that they are going to have the subject plus the auxiliary in the negative. And then you can go here and say, don't or doesn't, and then have the verb in the base form. Okay, plus comma. Yeah, the formula is always necessary. Always.
And that is for the special case for third person, for the verbs, for finish, are all the she,
Yep.
X, yes, it's add es.
Yes.
It's the rule.
Yes, and the thing is that is another class because you have to show them that some verbs, most of the verbs with s, some verbs depending on the ending es, and some verbs ies or right or
We have to drop the E.
yeah, exactly. So that's another class.
And we saw it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Well, in your case, yes, you saw it before. But if not, this would be like too much. Okay. Excellent. Good job. Ready, Pedro?
Yeah.
Good job.
And good pictures.
No,
And more
don't
pictures.
say that. That's for real. Now in my classes, I'm going to be like so nervous. I'm going to remember it.
It's because you went completely like this.
Because I always
This is you.
no,
But you
that's-
can do this.
Yes, no, but that's my problem. That I try to finish fast, but I'm always like that. So now that you were telling me about that, I saw that it was so important, but I'm so used to it.
Well, now you're conscious.
Yes.
That's the good part. And I insist, this is better. This is way better. But yeah, we need to practice. We need to practice. It's horrible without the practice.
Yeah.
The issues that
Yes. I'm going to
Traumatized.
be- Yes, I'm
the
going to be like
multiplies,
that.
the teachers.
I'm going to be writing like that. Or I'm going to a mirror. I'm going to be with a mirror and writing.
That's what I told my teacher. No, I'm going to be like this teacher.
Yes. Now I'm going to have a mirror like in my glasses. And writing.
No, and you should see, we were I think 8 teachers when we took the course. It was very funny because we were all women. Okay, and women are harder than men. We are very and it was terrible. So we were watching our backs.
The good thing is that they're afraid of using themselves because one time they keep them like until the end of the day in school. I just leave it in the office. Second time is 1 week. Third time is 1 month. And the fourth time is at the end of the semester.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing them.
No, you're not seeing them.
Ingenieros, I told you many times, picture, picture, picture.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning. Bueno, whatever. In my, okay, I'm going to say in this moment, students, people, the simple present, yeah. Uh, I, I feel very nervous, but I'm going to start. The simple present this is simple present, yeah. Yeah. Listen to me, please. Number one is I. The pronoun is I. Excuse me. I. Yeah. I. Yo in Spanish. Yeah. I. Myself. Yo. Spanish. It's necessary that don't speak a lot of the Spanish, but it's necessary to that you understand the meaning of the pronouns. Number one is I. Yo. Next is yeah. You. Yeah. You. Tú. He, yeah, él, okay, she, ella, okay, father, he, she, it, my God, él, cosa, animal, yeah, what else, we, nosotros, yeah, nosotros, they, ellos, yeah, in Spanish. Okay, it's all. Oh my God. Yeah. Listen to me, please. Next. After the pronouns, the next in the grammar is use the verb. Yeah. It's pronouns verb.
Don't worry, teacher. I don't take to.
Right. I'm going to see
But I will take the picture.
work. The word works. Work, excuse me. But listen to me. When we are use the third person, and in this case is he, she, the word will be of course with s. I want to add one s to the verb. In this case, it works. Only in this case, yeah. In this case, is only word. It's necessary that delete the s. In this case, is saying word. Yeah, only words. Only in this case, check this using the grammar of the when we are using simple present. On in this case only. Next, pronoun verbs. What next is the using in one sentence is the action, the verbs, and the predicate. The predicate is, for example, very well, yeah, very well, whatever combination, very well, excellent, whatever aspect that you want to use in this situation related with the sentence. Yeah, okay. This is the my explanation related with the simple present. The next activity, we are going to say this information. Listen to me. I work very well. You work very well. He works in this case very well. She works very well. It works very well. We work very well. They work very well. Okay, now, after me, please, you'll go to repeat after me, everybody you. Okay, it's necessary that you check the pronunciation and learn this grammar or the simple present. After me, please. I work very well.
I work very well.
You work very well.
You work very well.
He works very well.
He
He
works
works very well.
She works very well.
She
She
works very well.
It works very well.
He
He works very well.
We work very well.
We
You work very well.
And they work very well.
They work very
Okay.
well.
Okay, excellent. You are an excellent student. Now, it's necessary that you in this moment please practice the simple present in your notebook. This activity, you'll do this activity using to this information. We'll see of course. Excuse me. Other, excuse me, other verbs. Number one, other verbs will be of course, for example, drive. Other is what? Play, excellent. Other one.
Jump.
Vanessa?
Jump.
Yeah.
Jump.
Yeah. And other piece? Eat.
I'm hungry.
Okay. And all, only one.
Finish.
Yes.
No,
No,
but-
finish.
I finished. Excuse me. Okay. And this is verbs in action. Similarly than the very well, for example, very well, bad. Other similar than this predicate.
Excellent.
Excellent, great, excellent. Very good. Bad, excellent, and I don't know, very well, good, and or set. Okay, now you are going to work with this activity, this exercise, this quiz. This quiz will be. I'm going to create this information
No.
because I imagine that you have in your notebook. Yeah.
Yes, but no erase.
Yeah.
Don't erase.
No.
Don't erase.
Okay, exercise. Okay, the exercise will be using these verbs in this predicate. Yeah, this predicate. My back is not okay. This exercise will be with the number one. I thought you. 3, he, 4, and what else? She eats 5, we 6 days, and you'll put in this area the verb and the predicate using this in whatever this of verb or this of the predicate. Yeah, this is your exercise in this moment. Yeah, let's work please everybody.
Okay. No! Don't erase. Wait, teacher. Ándale, ándale. Be brave, like the rest. Everybody even.
In my bar is very messy.
Yes. Thank you. You recognize. Okay. You have some good things. Maybe here you focused all your simple present. You put pronouns. Maybe the teacher has already worked previously with his students, and when they see something like he, they know it's pronoun. Or when they see something like the, they know it's verb. For example, right now I used VBF, which is verb in the base form. Okay, maybe your students already know, so let's say that's not a problem. All right, we said watch out with the spelling.
Yeah. Very.
Excuse me.
Yeah, right. But why didn't you tell the teacher? You told Diana,
Yeah.
right?
And they didn't tell
Ah, que gachos. I know. Hey, even Steven, man, even Steven. Right? They didn't tell you. You have bad students.
me.
Evil schmeevil students. Okay, and then this part over here, okay, he makes his division, right? He wants his students to remember. He writes here verbs. Now, here we have a huge problem. Humongous. Number one, the word predicate doesn't exist. Okay, we are using a false friend from predicado to predicate. So we use, what do we use? Complement. Good. Okay, teacher, doesn't exist. Now, complement, when we put this has a different name. Actually, here we have like a mezcolanza. We have a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Okay, because here we're having some adjectives, okay, adverbs, and we're also having some comparatives. Okay, so we can't say adjectives, we can't say comparatives, we can't say adverbs. Okay, so you have to watch out, teacher. Okay, what are you giving your students to not confuse your students eventually? Okay, if we are going to the complement that we decide to give our students has to have a certain sequence. Okay, you can tell them from the very beginning. If we're just starting, you can tell them this is a complete sentence. You work, period. That's one sentence. Okay, whatever else you give them, you have to take your time and teach them in class. We already said, what else can you teach them? What things can be a complement for the simple present? We already said adverbs of time. And then we said adverbs of frequency. Okay. Frequency. And then we also said we can give them place. What else? What else can we give them? I work.
For sure.
No, yeah. Well, any other, right? Because there are many other things that we can.
According to the grammar or the program.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, because what you want is to make it bigger. Now, it depends. This topic, we usually see it in second. Yeah, right? Because all first is just the verb to be. We usually see this in second. So obviously you're not going to give them all this. What I recall from the books that I have used is that they only focus on adverbs of time expressions, adverbs of frequency, right? The rest, okay, comes later. But also places. We also look at places, right? We also look at places. So don't plan to see everything, right? Remember that they're going to see simple present again eventually, so they're going to have more time to see more complements that come afterwards. Okay? And then make teacher this part of the exercises. If you're going to write the exercises on the board, this is when you put all this up here, okay, and then the exercises down here, or vice versa. Okay? That's when you do that. All right? Or if you want to put them here, then you're going to have to like shorten the space so that you have more time to write the exercise. And it's good that it's here because this is the creative part. I want to create, okay, new exercise. So yes, teacher, you have to practice the managing of the board. And remember, do not give them anything extra unless you know exactly what you're going to give them. And grammar first, and then complement later. Okay? All right, excellent. Thank you. This is yours?
Nice.
Yes. Okay, good job. You want? We have good 10 minutes.
Take picture.
Yes, we're going to take pictures.
Revenge. Okay. You got it. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Come here.
But I did use
We're going to go over there. No, but
We have to use the
I know, it's good.
yeah, we have to use the board.
But that's not fair. We have to, everybody use the board.
Everybody use the board. Ike, what are you gonna do? Really?
I'm ready.
I already got that many graders, so.
Ingeniero is going to be like a model.
No problem. There's no.
Pero pobre caro. Okay, do it.
A ver si recuerdo. Remember. I don't need this t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, he always says that. He's not an English teacher. Yeah, so we have to be a little flexible. Yeah. A little flexible. A teeny tiny little. It's because he forgot his notebook.
Then, yeah,
And then he did it on
I
computer.
take you for the. I work. I am broke. I need money.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, boys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you? Um, what's it?
How do you feel?
Oh, yeah. What do you feel
Very
this
well.
morning?
Very well.
Yeah, very well.
Fernando's
Very
hungry.
good.
I'm a little.
Yeah.
I'm a little sick. I have a
Yeah.
sore throat.
Aw.
Why? It's too more cool. Don't drink. It's okay. Okay. Okay, but this class is to see the simple present. Yeah. Okay. Take a picture, right?
Everybody took like 5 pictures.
Yes? I'm gonna teach our practice.
Okay. Okay. I can practice. Okay. Simple present. What is the simple present? This is the moment. Yeah.
No.
No.
No?
Remember, this is simple present. Tell me how to.
Routines.
It's a routine. Yeah.
Habits.
Yeah. Actions.
Daily actions.
Okay. What is the pronoun for the action or routine? What is? I. Okay. What is I? I. Person. Yeah. I. Okay. Again. What is must?
Another one?
What else? I.
You.
You.
He.
She.
It.
It. It. We.
Your back.
Your back.
They.
Okay.
They.
They. They.
You. Well,
You.
no.
You can try the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Right there. Try it like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Be chairs. Be.
What is this? Pronouns? No.
That's not pronouns.
Pronouns.
It's okay. It's
No.
no.
N-O-U.
Pronoun.
Nouns.
Nouns.
No.
It's okay.
No.
No. No.
P-R-O-N.
One person. One person. One person.
One person.
O-U.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pronouns. Okay. Remember, I am not English teacher. Okay. Okay. The pronouns for simple present is for the let's say, routines. Right. What is the verb for your say routine?
Go.
Go. Okay. Go. The verbs. Oh. What is go? Go. Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. Other verb?
Sí,
See?
sí, yeah.
See. I can see.
No.
See? It's okay.
W.
W. Ok, sí. Muy bien. What is it? Completion? ¿Cómo?
The formula, the pattern,
Okay, the formula. Okay,
the what?
is the pronounce
Plus,
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 plus.
Plus.
Okay, plus. Pronoun plus verb. Okay?
yes,
Yeah? Okay. Muy bien. And we compute the first verb. Okay? I go. Okay? I go. You go. He
Goes.
goes. Okay. In this case, for third person,
Third person,
is a person singular. Singular. Only in this case is a new is a rule for the verbs is at s. Only in case for the verbs finish for o or should, see, yeah, x, I don't know, but is at es, okay? So this e, and regular verbs is only at s. Yeah, okay. Well, he, look, the rule goes, okay? Go, goes.
no,
No, go,
goes.
goes.
The pronunciation, the pronunciation.
Ah, okay, okay. Message. It goes. Okay. She goes. It
Goes.
and we
Go.
go. It's only for third person and singular. Okay? Go, they
Go.
go, and you go. Okay? So, ¿cómo se dice? Verbs.
It's okay, teacher.
It's okay.
We remember you're not. What else would you put in your word?
Okay.
Where?
Vamos por día.
Places.
Places? Okay. Muy bien.
Maybe.
Hi your sentence, Amarela. Hi your sentence.
Okay. ¿La paramos? Okay.
Where are you going? I go to the movies, to the theater,
Okay,
to my
teacher,
home.
not where are you going?
Ah,
Because you're
okay.
using progressive. Where
Yeah.
do you go?
Go. Where do you go?
I go to
I go to, okay, to school. Okay.
You see, the places can be where he has verbs, on the bottom, he can put vocabulary. Places, vocabulary. And then, okay, what places do you remember? Church, school, museum, good.
Yeah. Okay. It's necessary elaborate for the program, for the English program.
Yeah.
For the other books or English, it's not, not clear for the teacher. For what is the alcance, ¿cómo se
The
llama?
reach.
The reach for the aprendizaje del alumno,
Student learning.
de student learner. ¿Hasta dónde? O sea, maybe mm, take a, ¿cómo se dice, errores o mistake, yeah, for the more information and confusing the student.
Yeah.
The program maybe say to teacher hasta dónde, yeah, to work. And structure for the program for the times and
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
Maybe some teachers manejan or speak English very good, but
But they don't.
many teachers for us is not is difficult. Yeah, it's difficult.
So we have to avoid many topics at the same time, so they
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not only teaching, it's how you teach. Okay? It's not only.
It's- ¿cómo se dice? Difícil es
Difficult.
yes, difficult for any teaching.
Yeah.
Talking this and I, she is evaluated last
already.
yes,
They
but
delivered my result.
yeah, that's an excellent, it's good, but it's the only teacher
It's the
way
purpose.
for
It's
the
the
purpose that is it's
No.
only teacher. No,
You're kidding.
why? I'm miedo. ¿Por qué miedo? Porque si salgo insuficiente, me pueden correr. And the evaluation is too much, ¿cómo se llama? Estresante. Yes, stressful. Too much. When I evaluation for the supervisor, I don't see
You were sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nervous.
nervous. It's, I'm more like the form for the evaluation for teacher. I don't.
Yeah.
It's too much stress.
Yes.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And the teacher is dedicated for the evaluation and good representation.
Results.
Oh, yeah, good result. And, 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 and the teacher is se olvida
Forget.
forget it for the students.
Yeah.
Is a problem now.
Yeah. It's hard.
Sorry, I'm sorry, teachers.
No. Actually, I was very surprised here. He knows. No, and he knows this, and some teachers I know don't know that. They don't know that. It's like, pero ¿por qué tengo que cambiar? It's like, because it's in the road. Okay. Anyways, next class, well, I'll be in Juarez. Okay, so I'll send you the link when I am there. We are going to continue. Well, I'm going to review this simple present, because I need to tell you a little bit about how to teach this. And so, and some teachers, not all of you, not you here present, but some teachers need to remember how to structure the simple present. This was one of the things that I noticed on the exam that their performance was not very good at. Okay, and then we're going to retake with class management, because we need to look at body language, and we need to look at rapport, which is how to be sympathetic with the students' feelings and emotions when they come to the classroom. Okay, so we're not finished with management, and we'll do that online. Like I said, I will be in Juarez if anybody wants to go. Okay. We'll meet you. Yes, you have 2 weeks to fully practice, so that the next time when you have to present, you can practice your Blackboard management and your. All right, excellent. Okay, guys, any questions? No? All right, so you have yourself a great weekend. Happy Teachers Day. You deserve the day off. Enjoy. Pamper yourself. Pamper. Okay, pamper yourself on Tuesday. Okay, and be happy.
The next class, I will go to see the class in the
What?
on the line only or
Online.
I want to see here in next.
No, next week is online for you because I'm going to be in Juarez.
The after week,
The 19th, May 19th, I will be in Juarez. And May 26th, Saturday 26th, we'll be back here. Yes. All right. Excellent. Have a great day. Enjoy and take care, okay? So guys, see you next Saturday, Juarez, and the other people online. Okay, take care. Bye.